Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Sports1440.ca. Listening on the app, whether it's an iHeartRadio, Radio Player, Stingray. We appreciate it. Hope you're having an awesome day, enjoying a little rain as we get set for Game 5, a pivotal Game 5 tonight, the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. And hey, if you need something to do before then, go to playalberta.ca. Of course, title sponsor of the show. You can get your tickets $1,000 a day for life. Draw tonight. That's about 7.2 million because you get $1,000 a day for 20 years. Talked about this many times. I've yet to win, but I'd sure like to. God, should be unreal. Hey, $1,000 a day, no problem. Relieve a lot of stress. You don't have the stress of having a massive windfall and everybody knows it, and all of a sudden everybody's coming to talk to you. You can casually just win 7.2 million. Hardly anybody's going to know about it. I've been saving lately. It's great. So get your tickets at playalberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers, no lineup changes tonight as they take on the Vancouver Canucks. It will be a status quo. Nurses with Desharnais. You'll have Ceci with Kulak. Obviously, Bouchard and Ekholm. You will have Draisaitl centering Kane and Holloway. McDavid with Nugent, Hopkins, and Hyman. McLeod, Fogle, and Corey Perry. They'd love to get off the Schneid, that trio. Then you have Janmark, Ryan, and Connor Brown. Meanwhile, the Vancouver Canucks, there's some changes. When you knew this was coming, Rick Tocchet, hey, we got passengers, we got some good. Do they even know we're in the playoffs? Ooh, he was not happy. He was not happy. So he's moved some things around. Miller, Besser, and Police Suter, of course, will be the top line in Vancouver. Elias Lindholm will have Elias Pettersson on his right wing, and Niels Höglander on the left side. Teddy Bluger gets bumped up. He's going to go with Garland and Dakota Joshua. That's their energy line for sure. And then Nils Aman will center Di Giuseppe and Podkolzin. So Phil Di Giuseppe's back in after missing 2 games for personal reasons. Podkolzin will make his first appearance of the series, and also Aman back in. On the blue line, Carson Soucy, after his 1-game suspension for cross-checking McDavid in the face, he's back in with Tyler Myers, Quinn Hughes with Hronek, Zadorov, and Ian Cole. And, of course, Arthurs Shilovs will be in between the pipes tonight in a pivotal Game 5. Not a huge surprise, but the team historically, in a series that is tied 2 games apiece, which has happened 292 times in NHL history in 7-game series. Team who wins Game 5, 231 wins, 61 losses in the series. So do the math. That is 79.2% of the time. Whoever wins tonight wins the series. What's interesting is, whether it's Vancouver or Edmonton, it really doesn't change that much. Now, the road team, which would be Edmonton tonight, if they win, then it jumps up. They have like an 80.1% chance of winning the series. It's not a huge difference, really. Funny enough. So, tonight, massive game. Edmonton Oilers, focus will be get some goals 5-on-5 from your forwards. And I don't know, try to get some shots from your forwards. I crunched the numbers for all the 4 series in the second round. And the Oilers, they don't match up very well when it comes to shots and goals for 5-on-5. Right? It's not good at all. The Oilers have 49 shots from their forwards 5-on-5. That's 53.8% of their total 5-on-5 shots. Carolina 71%. Florida 68%. The Rangers 83%. Dallas 67.7%. Boston 67%. Vancouver 69%. The closest is Colorado at 62%. Like, the good news for Edmonton is that their defense have 4 goals, which is tied for the most of any team in the second round, 5-on-5. but their defensemen have 46.2% of their 5-on-5 shots. Way too high. We all know the farther you are from the net, harder it is to score. So the Oilers, forwards, buckle up, get to the net, take the puck to the net. They need to get some second, because when you think about all the shots they're not getting a lot of rebounds, not getting a lot of second and third opportunities. Like this series is 2-2, but it should be more. The Oilers should be up at least 3-1. They blew a 4-1 lead in game one. Right? Some shoddy goaltending, sure, but also a lack of scoring from their forwards 5-on-5. So to me, that'll be the focal point tonight for them. It's going to be interesting, the matchups. We know that they want the JT Miller line out against McDavid's line with last change, and Lindholm's been going up against Seidel, so that won't change. But I wonder if they're thinking, hey, we hope that Joshua and Garland and Teddy Bluger. Now, maybe, I wonder if they'll try to put that line out against Dreisaitl's line and then try to free up Lindholm against McLeod. Now, McLeod's been very good defensively, right? They can't score in the ocean offensively, but defensively, they've been very good. So it'll be interesting to see the line matchups tonight. We know that they like Myers and Soucy out against McDavid's line as much as possible. You can always give us your thoughts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our well inbox. So I have a question. Maybe we'll do it for our listeners. We do have a pair of seats, great seats for Game 6 on Saturday night. Now, we don't know the time yet. So here's my question to you, because you guys will be wanting to bid on that. Do you want to wait and do this tomorrow when you know the start time? Because it's either going to be 6:20 puck drop or 8:20 puck drop. If Carolina wins tonight, there'll be 2 games on Saturday. They don't really like the afternoon games now, so you'll have New York and Carolina at the early game, and then Edmonton and Vancouver is the late game, like normally on a Saturday. But if the Rangers win tonight, then there's only 1 game on Saturday, and that means likely a 6:20 Edmonton start time. So let me know. Here in the first thing, we'll go, do you want to wait till tomorrow, or do you want to do the auction today? Because we might just do the draw. We're going to put in a few people. You put in $100, and somebody's going to win a pair of seats to the game. So let us know today or tomorrow for those of you who want to play along. 833-401-1440. I'm guessing the start time doesn't matter that much, but it might. So we'll give you the option. 833-401-1440. Just say today or tomorrow. Pretty simple. It's one word. Write it down. NHL playoff action. How about this? Only the 6th time in NHL history in round 2 that all 4 series, will require 6 games, because the Colorado Avalanche, after kind of stinking the joint out on home ice, which is rare for them, they go into Dallas, pretty convincing victory. And now they go back to Denver for Game 6. Ooh, juicy. Imagine if they all went 7 games. That'd be great. Now, that's never happened. I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure that's never happened in 1 year, but it would sure be great. Because tomorrow we'll have 2 more elimination games. Boston needs to win at home, as does Colorado. So Carolina facing elimination, Boston facing elimination, Colorado facing elimination, but they're all at home. They got to think one of them is going to win. So we get at least 1 7-game series. Now, the Oilers would love to be the only team who can go home for Game 6 with a chance to end the series on home ice if they can get a win tonight. So you have that NBA playoff bracket. We're getting closer to figuring out what's going to be in the conference final there. Right, Dallas is now up 3-2 in their series. The Nuggets are up 3-2. Boston won their series 4-1, and the Knickerbockers leading their series 3-2. So all of them, they got 3 going 6 games. Minnesota's got to win at home. The Mavs can win at home and end the series, and the Pacers need to hold home court advantage if they want to push it to 7 games. Also, how about this? First time ever in Canadian major junior hockey history, all three, Quebec Major Junior, Ontario Hockey League, Western Hockey League, all three final series were won in a sweep. Drummondville wins, they'll represent the Q. London wins, they'll represent the Ontario Hockey League. And in game 3, they were trailing Oshawa 6-2 at one point and came back and won. And the Moose Jaw Warriors, first ever WHL championship. Now, I know they won as the Moose Jaw Canucks, different time. Actually, different franchise in the city. But it's first time for the Moose Jaw Warriors that they have a win in the WHL championship final. They sweep Portland. Huge for them. Right, so you've got PA, you've got Swift Current, Moose Jaw. They've all won championships here in the last 6-7 seasons, which is great for the WHL. You know, you have big markets. Edmonton's won. You want the smaller ones? They win too. Fantastic. So I'll say this. The Memorial Cup, which begins next Friday, will have all teams rested. They're all wrapped up. Doesn't start till next Friday. Saginaw's the host. So I wonder, is it going to make it a little bit better? Everybody is well rested. No one's, because sometimes you'll see teams go 7 games. They finish on the Monday. They got to get out there Thursday, Friday. They're kind of done. They're like emotionally spent. I've seen that happen. So we will, we'll see how it goes. Also today, some somber news. Gentlemen that many of you, depending on your age, you would have watched them on ITV back when they had Sports Night. And then many of you, regardless of your age, have watched them for the last few decades on TSN, on SportsCenter. Darren Dutchyshen, who really, I think, was one of the main guys who changed how highlight packages shows were done on TV. The Sports Night show in Edmonton was amazing. It was so, Dutchy, Solkowski did it. Kevin Carius did it for years. It was great, but Dutchy was the first, and man, he was good. Beat him like a rented mule. He has so many lines. Now, I know when we went to TSN, sadly, it's kind of the boring network. They had to tone it down a little bit. God, he was funny, though. I still remember the time he threw, and he was talking about his story about his granddad. And how he's telling him how you have to have good hands and knowing ladies, and like how I gotta go and listen to it again. But holy cow, it made me laugh. He was funny. Could time it with the sundial. He had so many back to back jacks. God, he was good, man. Oh, so many. So hey, if you remember a Dutchyism, let us know. Text it in at 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 for that. And man, he was an absolute beauty, was Dutchy. So to condolences to his family, his kids, co-workers, 57 years. He battled cancer. He did try some special treatments, and unfortunately passed away due to prostate cancer. And you know what? It's unfortunate. We'll get into it. Today's not the day, but I think next week there's something that Dutchy did that I think is something that's worth discussing in the public eye, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Hey guys, I remember when Dutchy, he just to rile up Halsey. It was hilarious. It was pretty funny. He could get old Halsey fired. Now, keep in mind, Halsey was a great entertainer. And Dutchy would get him fired up sometimes, but there was times when Halsey would really, act that out a little bit more to make it look entertaining. He was very good too, as a broadcaster. But remember the sweaters he used to, like Strutty? Maybe that's where Strutty got his love for sweaters. We'll have to ask him, because Halsey used to love sporting the sweaters when he'd get on there. Oh God, that was funny. Hey, boys, my favorite Dutch memories is Radio Shack commercials. Super cringy, but they were hilarious because of how jacked he was in his white dress shirt. Yeah, he did like the tight shirts. There's no doubt about that. Cons, what did you say?
Just we have a caller if you want to go to him.
Oh, who's that?
Sheldon.
Sheldon, what's on your mind?
Hey, I was just listening to you talk about the series, and I'm thinking about Sheaves with Vancouver. Does this not ring familiar? You remember Steve Penny in the mid-'80s?
With Montreal, yes.
Like, both starters are hurt. They bring up this guy who basically had never played in the NHL and said, guess what? You're going to be starting the playoffs. And I think he took the Islanders to 6 games in the conference finals.
Yeah, well, I think he had back-to-back years with the Canadians because he came up out of nowhere the first year. I want to say, I think it was the year the Oilers won the Cup, the first one, 84. I'll have to double check because it was either 84 and 85 or 85, 86. And yeah, he won 2 rounds his first year, and then I think the next year he won 1 round. And then he was kind of done after that. It was a real kind of quick rise and quick fall for him because I don't even know if he played 100 regular season games in the NHL. I got to look it up. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did either. I'm just a big Canadians fan, and when I saw Sheaves and saw what he was doing, and how he got thrust into the spotlight, Steve Penny was who I thought of, right off the bat, and I thought, there's so many similarities. Montreal played, I think, Boston in the first round. They were about 30 points behind them in the standings, and he absolutely stood on his head in the first round against Boston.
Yeah, well, no, Penny was great. It was one of those kind of Cinderella runs that no one expected for sure. Right? And it's funny, Montreal, when you think about it, Steve Dryden, Ken Dryden, when he won the Cup, kind of came out of nowhere either, right? And absolutely dominated for the Montreal Canadiens. The difference was he dominated for a long, long time. But Steve Penny had a great rise, and I think I looked it up. It was 1984 with when the Oilers won, and then again in '85. He played 27 playoff games in those 2 years. Pretty good for them. And then after that, he played a grand total. After that season, he played a total of 33 NHL games after the 1985 season. So,
yeah, no, you're right. And just one more thing. Darren Dutchyshen, I remember as a kid, a teenager, I would stay up and have to watch the news from 10 to 11 because I had to wait till 11 o'clock to watch Sports Night. And he was incredible. Like, he absolutely put sports broadcasting up in this area. I was sad from seeing leave.
Oh yeah, sorry, your phone's kind of cutting out there. So yeah, Dutchy was amazing, man. He was witty. We got lots of them coming in already at 833-401-1440. Upstairs where Norma Bates keeps his mama. Oh God. He loved the finds the twine. Grandma upstairs where grandma hides the cookies. He had lots of good ones, man. Oh, beat him like a rented mule. That was one of his. Probably some of them now. I think he had the one, beat him like a stepchild. Like, obviously, you're not going to say that one anymore. But oh man, he really, honestly, I think he was a pioneer in how the live broadcasting was done for highlights for the shows. The votes are in, and we will do it today. The vast majority of you want to do it today. Hey, they're like, I want more time to plan if I win, and that's valid. So that's valid. So I'll tell you how we're doing it coming up next. And speaking of Dutchy, guy who worked with him, replaced him, Perry Solkowski will join us. We got Jason Smith, Kevin McClellan, former Oiler, talking about 1984, huge goal 40 years ago today. One of the biggest goals 40 years ago this year, one of the biggest goals in Oilers history on Long Island. We'll talk to him about that. We got TR, Speck, Livingston, Carries and more on a busy Thursday edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10-plus odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Heavy hauling in the worst of climates can be dreadful. Take the stress off the job with AccuSteel Heavy. Fine heavy hauling with premium heavy haul trailers designed, manufactured, and battle tested in the harshest of conditions. And if your heavy haul trailer has issues, their full service and frame inspections will tell you exactly what's wrong and why. They take the guessing out of repair work with quality engineered frame repairs that get you back working quick. Discover the difference at AccuSteel.ca. Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Cruise through summer with a sleek new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Explore the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada,
including the dynamic Outlander PHEV and the sporty Eclipse Cross.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you'll get 0% financing on all our 2024 models, including the RVR and Mirage.
Plus, every Mitsubishi comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer powertrain limited warranty.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Whoa, I earned that much Canadian Tire money on top of those sweet discounts? Did they make a mistake?
Value so stacked, you'll wonder if it's a mistake. The Triangle Max Stack event at Canadian Tire, Sport Check, and Marks. Ends Thursday. Conditions apply. Discounts available to all shoppers.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza. Served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese. Starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
We continue on. It's game day on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Oilers into Vancouver to take on the Canucks tonight. Game 5, a pivotal game 5. No lineup changes for the Oilers. Canucks have 4 guys in who weren't there last game. Carson Soucy back from suspension. Di Giuseppe and Höglander are both played in the series. They're back in. Also, Bud Colson will make his debut in the series tonight. So Rick Tocchet, you knew this was coming after his, we got a lot of passengers. Some guys don't even know it's a playoffs comment after game 4. So you knew the changes were coming. Let's get to our big guest of the day. Today, brought to you by Silent Eye Sports and Entertainment, innovative market leader across Western Canada with properties including the Thunderbirds, the Saints, Silent Ride Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newest league, the Female Super League. Learn more at femalesuperleague.com. And unfortunately, actually yesterday, Darren Dutchyshen passed away at the age of 57 after a battle with prostate cancer. And for those, many of you watched him on TSN, but before he was on TSN, well, he was actually in Saskatchewan first, but then he came to Edmonton. And really, I think that's when the highlight packages on sports TV changed, because a sports night in Edmonton at 11 o'clock was like tune in TV. If you were a sports fan, you couldn't wait. It was unreal. And our next guest, of course, worked with Darren. And then after when he left, Perry Solkowski joins us. Perry, good afternoon. How you doing?
Jason, good. Thanks. I wish I was joining you under different circumstances and a different topic, but I do appreciate the opportunity of you reaching out. And man, the memories have just been kind of flooding towards me over the last 5 hours or so, once hearing about Dutchie.
Yeah. Oh man. Like you guys had a lot of fun on there. Like it was, honestly, it was really kind of the change of how highlights were done in Canada.
Yeah. When you're in it, you know what, we were kids, right?
Yeah.
We were both the same age. We're 23. We came in there, Dutch had been doing it, I think, for about 6 or 7 months on his own. And Jason, I'll be honest. I mean, he wasn't the most welcoming guy, and I understood why.
Yeah.
I did that show with him probably for the first 3 or 4 nights, and he didn't talk to me. And I said, "Hey, man, let's figure this out." And he goes, "Yeah, well, this kind of sucks." I go, "Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I didn't make this call either. Like, management figures this might be the way to do it." And then it just worked. The thing with Dutch, he was what he was, right? Go back to Todd Bertuzzi. He was going to change.
Yeah.
I mean, that was his passion. He was like that all the time, and our personalities just clicked, and we got away with murder sometimes, and it was just a blast. And I think that was before you saw the 2-man sports shows anywhere, and we just had a lot of fun doing it. And we had producers who, you'd go into a show, and as you would have with your radio show, you want to kind of make sure you have everything settled down. Okay, yeah, that'll give us 30 seconds at the end. Or our producer would go in and go, "We got 3 minutes." And we would look at it and go, "Well, we'll fill it with personality." And we would just go off and do it, right? And you never knew what was going to happen. It was tremendous.
So a lot of the, a lot of the phrases we've had listeners texting him in, Dutchie had a few that he liked. And, there are some that you would say then you can't say now. There's no, we're a little bit different time. And some of us might say that was bad. But how many of those were off the cuff, Perry? And how many of them would you guys like kind of throw to each other off air first to see how it went?
Yeah, you know what? We never really talked about anything until we got down there. Who's starting the show tonight? And then it was the ability, I think, in some cases, to just go. And you think, I'll tell stories that might make people smile. Back then, on the days, you'd have 4 TV monitors up at the very top of the studio, nothing in your desk. And on Friday night, sometimes you could find late night television that wasn't necessarily appropriate. So at 11 o'clock, our studio crew would usually have one of those monitors on that TV. And Dutch and I amazingly could call hockey highlights while maybe describing something that we weren't watching. "Oh, right in front, this is an opportunity." And, we had that kind of fun, looking at something that was a little different and risque, and watching our highlights and putting it together. So it was always off the cuff, and sometimes it made no sense. And, we didn't care. Jason, what a great job. We're 23, 24.
Yeah.
They're paying us, albeit very little back then. They screwed us over. But they're paying us to talk sports, right? And we both just loved that. It was just a dream job.
So as you did it more, how did the chemistry build? Like, what was it just natural, or what did you guys work on to get better at together?
Yeah, this morning, there's been quite a few texts going around. I'm sure it's like you, Jason, when you started. I get to ITV in 1990. Dutch had just been there. Everyone is probably the age 22 to 24. Those people have become lifelong friends. Their girlfriends became wives. They now have kids who are 28, 29. Dutch was a father at 16. Young Tyler was around the office quite a bit. But it's how you do it. I mean, a Wick Cup golf tournament in Kananaskis, someone threw that picture out at me today. There's 10 of us there just going crazy. And of course, we talk for a living, so we could talk a big game when there's no cameras around. Hockey tournaments in Red Deer, a Wick Cup, where teams from BCTV came and RDTV was there. We lived and died with that. Those were our moments. So it's just guys being guys, golfing at Mel Woods, at the ranch. That's how teams become good teams, right? People who want to hang with each other away from the rink, away from the office. And with Dutch at that point in our age, that was kind of how we were doing it. Geez, I can remember these memories. I was having my stag. We're at some bar in Edmonton. I'm dancing on the floor. And the next thing you know, he's throwing me over his shoulders. He's taking me out of the bar and we're just off somewhere else. And that was Edmonton. And they treated us so well. And I think today I just realized how linked the two of us were because we started at the same time. He ended up going east. I ended up going west. But I think his ability certainly helped me and maybe we helped each other.
Perry Salkowski joined us as we are talking about Darren Dutchyshen, passed away yesterday at the age of 57. Of course, was a staple here in Edmonton on Sports Night, and then went to TSN for Sports Center for decades there. And Perry, it was like when you look back on it now. Did you mentioned you kind of, you had free reign. It was 11 o'clock at night. I remember doing sports shows on my own and radio at 11 o'clock. It was just different. The audience just expected something different, and that's totally fine. You could get away. You could say some things. You go off on some zany tangents that normally you wouldn't do in prime time. How many times did you guys get your knuckles wrapped?
Well, fortunately, sometimes our bosses were sleeping by 11. I think we drove our producer crazy. There's, the thing back then, Jason, you have a sports trivia contest, right?
Yeah.
And we had good prizes, but we were the experts prior to the internet. You had the Bible of hockey. You had the giant NHL guide.
Yes.
So that was that. You were ahead of everybody at that point. I remember one night, Dutch and I are doing it, and the question, I'll have the wording wrong, but it was something to the effect of who has the most goals either in a season or in the playoffs or something as a right winger in the NHL. Brett Hull had just done it a year earlier. But we were looking at an old NHL guide. So our guy's answering the phone and he's hanging up. And we would ask that question at 10 minutes after 11. And it's like 11:15. And we're going, you telling me no one's getting the answer? No one's getting the answer. And we had given him the answer as Guy Lafleur.
Oh, okay.
No. Everyone's saying Guy Lafleur. Really? Okay. And I was, what are we thinking, man? It's Brett Hull. So finally at 25 after 11, we said, just take the next guy that says Brett Hull. We'll just give it to him. And so we come on and we just go, hey, of course the answer is you dummies. It's the easiest question. It's Brett Hull. Well, we probably had 150 people that were just swearing at the TV. We announced the guy's name, go, hey, buddy, don't ask any questions. Sometimes we have new people in new positions. It is what it is tonight. Blaming completely on this young intern. And Dutch and I were laughing, go, what a bunch of idiots we were. Right? But no one knows until you we won't tell anybody about that one, but we were wrong and everybody else was right. So we could get away with a lot of stuff. We once went golfing in Mill Woods, and it was a Friday at 9 a.m, and it was bad August weather in Edmonton, which means snow was coming. Dutch happened to have a vodka with them and thought, we'll have a drink. Fuck it. It's 9 o'clock, man. What are we doing here? And then we only got 9 holes in, and then we found another place to hang out. It's 3:30, and our entire ITV sports department is in an establishment where we shouldn't have been. And our phone rings going where are you guys? Well, when we got the entire sports department and the show's in 2.5 hours, Dutch went back, I went back. He did the 6 o'clock, then disappeared. We had Guy Lafleur coming on that night at 11. He disappeared, nowhere to be found. We're phoning him. I kind of went and had a nap. It's first time, probably the only time in my 30 years. I thought Guy Lafleur's right beside me live on air and go, oh my gosh, this is the last thing I want to do. And I listened to my producer asking a question, which I never ever listened to. So it was that kind of stuff that built a wonderful camaraderie amongst us. And he just took his talents out east and didn't change a bit, right? He just loved sports and loved sports. And that passion always came through every time he jumped on TV. Never an act, just a guy who wanted to talk sports.
Well, and anybody who knew Dutchy and worked with him and got to meet him, hey, you know what? He was, all energy all the time. Right. He was, I'm not going to say high strung. He was just full of energy. He'd see, how's it going? And he was like that, how he broadcast was really how he was, in life all the time. There was very few, at least the times that I met him, very few times where there was a lot of quiet moments with Dutch around.
Yeah, and you know, his first job in Saskatchewan, not a lot of people know this. I think the news director had come up to him and said, that last name's a mouthful. Why don't you change your name to Darren Duke? So there's about 6 of us in the broadcast industry. I've never called Dutchy. I've always called him Duke.
Oh, okay.
And there's about 6 of us that call him Duke. That's the inside joke, right? You know, he took Dutchyshen and ran with it a long way. But he was always Duke when I saw him. You know, and I'd run into him a few times, but you're right. You know, I think the last time I was on air, I was doing a hit for TSN in about 2017. I didn't even ask, and I was in commercial break, and you know, people don't know, you know, we had a history, and the producer said, you're going to come on with Darren Dutchyshen in a couple minutes. And he just said, Sokolowski. And I said, Duke. And, you know, it was a 2.5 minute massive commercial break where we caught up on our lives, right? And just realized that we got in this together. And, you know, I can remember saying, how do you still have a job? Because, man, I'm waiting for them to take me out to the pasture. Yeah. I go, yeah, I've seen your act, man. I don't know how you lasted that long. It was a mutual respect. He was so talented at what he did, and he never changed, right?
Yeah, he was witty. Now I know he liked the gym. That was obvious. He also liked the super tight shirts. He wasn't afraid.
Well, see here, Gregor. Here's how far back we go. I said we called him Duke. There's a few of us that called him Thin White Duke. I mean, he was small for a bit, and then he went out east and got big, and he loved the gym. He loved the gym, working out. When I saw him in 2010 in Vancouver, it was more about how are things. And he goes, man, I found this great gym. It's going to be great for the next 3 weeks. Listen, I don't think he did anything without being passionate.
Yeah.
And that's the reason for the success. And I think, you know, I know a lot of people have reached out, and he touched a lot of people, and he didn't care what your title was. And I don't think he cared too much what his title was, right? No. We're all in it. The Saskatchewan in him never left. And that meant good person, good to everybody. And you wanted good things to happen to him. And today, to see him so young, who spent his lifetime working nights, you just said, Dutch, man, you needed, I wish you just would have had time to enjoy it all. That said, he enjoyed every minute of what he did, which is the one thing you kind of hang on to.
Barry, before I let you go, and I really appreciate you taking some time to talk about to Dutchy here with all our listeners. We got a lot of text. People appreciate what both of you guys did together. But, you know, you worked in Vancouver and BC a long, long time. Give me your thoughts on this Oilers-Canucks series.
Jason, you know, I went to my first playoff game as a fan. I went to game 2.
Yeah.
And after telling my wife, man, these tickets are pricey. You know, it's almost split down the middle. I've almost had half my life out in Vancouver, half my life out in Edmonton. So I said to a friend, you can take the boy to Edmonton, but you can't take the Oilers out of the boy now that I don't have an allegiance. Listen, I think the Oilers have been the better team for everything but 3 periods. And I can't believe it's a 2-2 series.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is I've got a lot of respect for Rick Tocchet. I think he will get more from this hockey team. I don't know if it's enough. You're going to know more than me. I just think this Edmonton team just looked comfortable knowing Picard is there to be in the right spot to make a save. And just Stuart Skinner just didn't have it early on. I'm shocked, but at the end of the day, I thought the series would be 6. I think it will still be 6 for Edmonton. It's just always amazing in hockey how the heck you get to a 6-game series. Because I would never have thought the first 4 games would have played out like they did. Edmonton dominating, just trying to hang on, and Vancouver just scratching and clawing. So I think just the better hockey team should always win. That's why they played this many games. I'd like the Oilers will win tonight, and I think they'll finish it off on the weekend home.
Very great stuff, man. And, you know, thanks for joining us. You know what? Great to celebrate the life of Dutchy, and maybe not on best terms, but I really appreciate your time.
Jason, I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody in Edmonton. It really was unbelievable. And even the notes coming my way. We had a great time doing that show, and all the best and wishes to everyone around Darren's world. He was a wonderful man.
Awesome. Thank you, Perry. That's Perry Solkowski. He was very good. He's, you know, very good broadcaster and exceptional career for a long, long time as well. And, you know, it's amazing. 2 guys, 23 years of age. And think about that. You're 23 years of age. You're in a major, you know, Canadian market, and you get to talk sports. That's your job. And you kind of just have fun with it and ad lib at times. It's amazing. Trust me, as somebody who's done his job for 23 years talking sports, it's if you like sports, there's very few jobs that are more fulfilling. And you know what? I have the ultimate respect. I've worked in the oil field for a long time. It's you know, they're tough jobs. I think my job's very tough. It's demanding, but it's definitely a different type of what it is in the oil field. That's for sure. So being 23 though, oh my goodness, you must have had a lot of fun. And something tells you that might not have been the only time that you know, you might have had a few too many before you had to go. Maybe not both of you, but probably one of them at some point. We will return here on Sports 1440. When we come back, we will hear, we'll get to the little bit of NBA chatter, all because, of course, playoffs there are great. We'll also talk some NHL, the Hurricanes, baby. Can they complete the Cinderella comeback? We'll get to that. And do you want to go to the game on Saturday? I'll tell you how. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Extra large New York style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra large New York style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra large New York style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99. Only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Hi, Brad McCory here. It's May, and that means it's time for our biggest sale of the year. We're practically giving away. Take our 2023 Ram 1500 Classic that was $59,000. Now, just $44,000. Yes, we're giving with savings up to $15,000 and an available 0% financing for 60 months on our new 2024 Ram 1500 Sports. We really are giving away. Hey, why do you keep bleeping me? I was just saying we're giving trucks away during our biggest sale of the year. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Ennio and Jason are friends. Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Except when they talk hockey. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wheelhawk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wheelhawk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready.
Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
We freaking killed it, Nuge.
That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah, well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The basketball and hockey seasons are heating up. Baseball is just getting started, and we've got you covered with around-the-clock sports coverage. Tune in for Fox Sports tonight after 9 and all weekend long. Sports 1440 has you covered.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Building a bungalow used to be an ideal retirement plan, but they can be expensive and an inefficient use of valuable land. Ram Elevators and Lifts offers a better solution. Stay in the home and neighborhood you love or build up. A second story or rooftop patio are completely accessible with a Ram elevator. Ram offers a renovation-ready product that requires minimal space and no elevator pit or separate machine room. Make your home your forever home with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Visit trustram.com.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Experience the future of car shopping at Windermere Chrysler. The floor-to-ceiling windows in our stunning new showroom bathe every sleek model in natural light. But that's not all. While you relax in our customer lounge, peek through the unique viewing window into the service area. Watch our expert team at work, ensuring your vehicle is in top form. Plus, every service appointment includes a complimentary tire and wheel alignment analysis and a full car wash and vacuum. The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermerecdjr.ca.
Oh, j'aime mes cheveux.
Plus voyez Velocia.
No kami. Psycho.
Translation:
I love my hair, and Dr. Vance Elliott is the reason why. He's an authority on hair restoration procedures, and not just in Edmonton. He teaches other doctors around the world how to perform successful hair transplants.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I want to be the reason why you love your hair. Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Oilers in Vancouver for a pivotal Game 5. Also tonight, the Hurricanes trying to complete the comeback. They were down 3-0. It's 3-2, and they're on home ice for Game 6 tonight. As we get to the playoff report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer, no swass. Play at legacyheating.ca. And we are joined by a gentleman that you listen to nightly here on Sports 1440, host on Fox Sports, the Jason Smith Show. Jason Smith joins us. Jay, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Dude, are you kidding, man? 4 days ago, I felt awful. Now I'm like, hey, if we come back and beat the Rangers being down 3-0, that's like a bucket list feather in my cap of my sports life.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're a huge Canes fan. And you know what? Like 5-on-5, they're dominating. Their special teams is being not so special. But if they can slow down the Rangers power play, then things look good.
Yeah. I mean, look, look, Brenda Moore was right when he said earlier, well, there's two series going on here. You know, there's the 5-on-5 series, and then there's the rest of it, which we could talk about. And it's crazy because Hurricane special teams are normally very good, and but the Rangers have just been so red hot on the power play. And when Game 4 came and they scored a shorthanded goal to go up 1-0, I said to myself, here's yet another game we're going to lose by 1 goal, and it's apropos that it's a shorthanded goal that's going to do us in. And we're going to the third period down 1-0. I go, we're going to lose this game 1-0, and all of a sudden, bam, bam, bam. I was stunned. I'm like, this is one of those. This is not one of those, hey, here's a third period where we're just going to get one and be happy to get one and then lose. No, this is like a third period where this is going to be a springboard for us. And now I'm thinking all we got to do, if we can sum tonight is such a big deal, obviously, but I really want to see what the pressure is like on the Rangers down 3-0, going back home for Game 7 and see how they handle it.
Well, MSG Game 7, sign me up. So I hope it happens. You obviously you're in the U.S. You're covering lots of hockey. You're a huge hockey guy, but the NBA playoffs are there. That now they got the Boston, no surprise, they're spanking Cleveland, but the other series have been pretty close, right? Minnesota, they started off, they gave Denver a scare. It looks like the champs have kind of figured that one out. OKC and Dallas is entertaining. At least the series are close. What do you make of them on a game-by-game basis?
Well, the thing is that it's kind of tough because I feel like there's one series above the rest just because of the how close it's been and how much the teams hate each other, and not just because it involves my team, which is the Knicks. But it's just that, but the Knicks pace has just been on another level as far as interest level. Some of these other series are close, but the games are blowouts, right? So it's kind of tough. Like the NBA, sometimes I feel like they have a playoff problem where it's, this is supposed to be the sport at its highest level. And instead, most of the games are 20-point burials and a lot of stars just don't play. Like how does Donovan Mitchell really doesn't play the last 2 games of that series against the Celtics? There have been 50 players who have been hurt and not played in the playoffs so far. And you can have an all-star team of some of those guys. And it's really weird because this is a time when, hey, this is when the NBA playoffs should be, this is the best of what we got. And series like the Knicks Pacers used to be the norm. Now it's the outlier. And it's okay, well, hopefully some of these other games are close at some point. We can get a good Game 6 or a good Game 7. I mean, you compare it to the hockey playoffs, and it's always, hey, every game's a 1-goal game. Even a 2-goal game midway through the third period, it's still something. The NBA's got to solve this playoff issue they have with these games that just, I mean, and you can't do anything about blowouts, obviously, but with blowouts and stars not playing, and you get to a point where it's, okay, do I really have to watch this game or can I just check in on it? And then if it's a blowout, do I really need to watch it at all? Oh, well, look, the Nuggets are winning by 25. They're continuing to win by 25. And so, all right, I don't need to really go and take a look and see what's happening with this game.
Do you think there's a way to fix it?
Well, there's got to be a way, right? Because there's got to be a way to say, okay, we have to make sure that our league is playing when the most eyeballs are on this league. It's got to be at the highest level, but it's got to be something where let's just throw all kinds of ideas at the wall and see what sticks. There's no idea that is too crazy. All right, the in-season tournament, pretty good idea, but now you're talking about fixing the playoffs, where ratings have been sort of stagnant, and this is not a time to have stagnant ratings when you're looking at the NFL that's now deciding to take on Christmas Day and say, well, not enough people watching the NBA anymore. We're going to take over Christmas Day and we'll get double the rating. Like, they need to take a look and say, all right, spacing the games out, making sure the guys are healthy, maybe playing less games in a playoff round. I mean, I know you're looking at saying, oh, all this is money out of the owner's pockets, money out of those pockets. But with certain things like in-season tournament, you can find a way to make it up. But it's just got to be something where, hey, the NBA hits the playoffs, and it's, all right, we're playing at a high level, and our stars are playing. All the guys are playing. Giannis is not suddenly out because he's played too much basketball all season long. There has to be some way to get that going where the NBA can do it, but it's going to be big-time decisions about games played and length of seasons and what we do and how much time is between games. I mean, that's got to be what it is.
It seems to be a fair drop-off. And I know the game is different than, the NHL. You can have kind of depth guys and they can impact the game a little bit more. But in the NBA, if you got your stars, and your stars go, it kind of separates it, right? And there's not much that other teams can do. And now, I don't know if that's always going to be the way it is, but I just wonder, is the pool, like, it seems at times like the gap between the best and the middle is getting larger, not smaller.
Yeah, and look, and the NBA is built around stars. Like they had this great business model for a long time to say, we're going to give you the stars. And where the NFL always had the best business model of the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back. And superstars just came organically every year in the NFL draft. You got 5 or 6 new guys every single year. The NBA said, no, we are giving you superstars down your throat. And that's what's really resonates. It's why the top 15 players in the NBA are all such huge deals. And if they're not playing, I mean, that's a big deal, man. I mean, you look at the Celtics' path to the NBA Finals. They played a Heat team without Jimmy Butler, who's their best player. All right, they played a Cavaliers team that didn't have Donovan Mitchell the last couple of games, their best player. They don't have to play the Bucks because they're out because Giannis missed the playoffs because he's hurt. And in the next round, if they get the Knicks will be playing with 4 by the time they get to this because everybody's getting hurt every 5 minutes. Or they're going to play a Pacers team that is just okay. It's like the Celtics, like they have a bye into the NBA Finals. And, I don't know, man. I mean, look, I want to think the Knicks can do it, but I know it's a magic carpet ride. It's going to end at some point. But, I mean, really, I look at this and I go, man, look at a team like the Celtics. They're just saying, what do we do this year to deserve all this unbelievable luck for us?
Yeah, no, that's very fair. Jason Smith, host of the Jason Smith Show here on Sports 1440 from 9 until midnight every weeknight. And, of course, across the United States. You look at the NHL. You're a huge NHL fan. We see the Canes and the Rangers. It's only the 6th time that all 4 series in the second round are going at least 6 games. Boston found a way without Brad Marchand to get to Game 6, and now it looks like the nosed one will be back for Game 6. You give them a puncher's chance to push it to 7.
I see what you did there with puncher's chance. Because did you see what he said today? He said the quiet part out loud. Hey, we're out there trying to injure the other team. That's how you win.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Like, dude, I get it. But wow, that's quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you look at my, hey, look, I'm the first guy to tell you, we're coming out to injure people. Like it's rollerball.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Like the NHL, you can't have one of your top players. Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. That's why the small teams don't win. They all get hurt because we all injure them as much as we can throughout the playoffs. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, man. I get that sometimes you say things that you're like, I don't know if I should say it, but boy, he really owned that. He really owned. Oh no, we're all going out to injure people. Hey, we injured you. You try to injure me, okay? I'm trying to injure you as well.
Yeah, well, he's not lying. So he's telling the truth. Everybody knew it. He's like, I'm not going to hide behind it. It was when you looked at that one angle that magically didn't come out until right before the game afterwards, Sam Bennett, I'll give him credit. That was a sneaky little punch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look, if as always, if you can get away with it, right? That's what it is. You can get away with it. It's real. Look, it has been really entertaining. Like the playoffs have been really entertaining, as you said. All these games going to Game 6, at least is fantastic for the league. But boy, at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, I don't know how much we want to focus on the whole injury part of it. Guys get I don't know. Let's just focus on over here, and let's leave over here to other things. And now I really want to see what the league is going to say, if they're going to have any reaction to Marchand's comments about injuring people. I don't know, man. That just stunned me today. When I still can't get. I read a couple hours ago, and I'm like, I still can't believe the guy said it. I really can't believe he did.
Jason, the NFL schedule release, it's become a real big deal. It's kind of funny.
Wait a minute. No, before you ask me NFL, how do you feel about tonight, man? This is Game 5 for you, man, on the road. How do you feel?
Oh, Edmonton's being the better team in the series. I think Edmonton wins. Like all they need is they just need consistent goaltending, and they got it with Calvin Pickard. It's kind of unexpected, but Vancouver now, unless they've changed their lineup, Rick Tocchet, who I love as a coach, comes out. He's ripping his guys. We got passengers. We got guys that don't even know what's in the playoffs. He's fired right up. And, he follows it up. He makes 4 lineup changes. Well, obviously one's due to suspension, but, 25% of his forwards are out. And, he changes up his lines. He's trying to give Peterson a pulse to see if he can do anything. But the Canucks would have to really change what they're doing because they're just not generating any offense. They're kind of boring offensively, to be honest. And, the Oilers, meanwhile, They're getting a lot of puck possession, but they just circle on the outside. Their forwards have the fewest shots of any team in the second round. They've only got 49 5-on-5. It's like 53% of their 5-on-5 shots come from forwards, which is brutally low. So Edmonton, if they can find a way to pay the price a little bit more, I think they could probably blow them out. But they haven't been willing to do it and get consistent shots and rebounds. So that's why I think the scores have been closer than they probably should be.
Yeah, because I look at, coming into the playoffs, I said, okay, this is the philosophy facing Edmonton. You have to withstand the first 10 minutes of the game, right? You know they're going to come out flying. You know the Oilers are going to come out flying. If you can withstand the first 10 minutes and get into the game, you can get Edmonton to play a little bit towards your style. But you can't, if you let them dictate too much, obviously that's going to be the key for a lot of games. But if you can withstand the first 10 minutes and suddenly you catch your breath a little bit, now our lines are matched up and we can. And we feel pretty good about this. I mean, that's a big Achilles heel. It's a huge advantage if you can withstand those first few minutes, man. I mean, because I know, look, here in LA, that's all everybody talked about was they were just so scared about what was going to happen in the first few minutes of every game. And it felt like every game they were up 3-0 before they even dropped the puck.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that, and that fear factor of just, oh man, here comes 5 o'clock lightning with Edmonton in the first period of the game. And I look at the Canucks and I go, okay, they kind of have figured that out a little bit, but to be the point where they've kind of slowed it down a little bit to the point where they're getting Edmonton to play their pace a little bit more. But I agree with you that this should wind up being an Oilers victory. And I'm hoping for you for an Oilers victory because, boy, I can't imagine what it'd be like if they don't win this one.
Well, it'll be a fun show tomorrow. I'll tell you that. Part psychologist.
No, when you say fun, what do you mean fun?
Because people, I love it when people are passionate. As a sports radio host, if there's no passion, it's boring. So people get fired. Well, if they win though, now it's positive Friday for us on Friday, so it becomes even more positive. I think people now they're going to be because the thing about this series that has been fun is. Oilers and the Canucks really have never had a real rivalry. They've faced in the playoffs once in 32 years. And, the Vancouver's never really been good when the Oilers were good. And then Edmonton sucked for a long time. So both teams are actually competitive now. And the two fan bases, the disdain amongst each other is becoming apparent, which is kind of fun to watch as an outsider. I just kind of I just like to watch it, right? I got some popcorn and away I go. So. Yeah,
sometimes you just need that one series and all of a sudden the rivalry is here. You just need one series, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you need. Now, quickly, I want to get your thoughts. The NFL release, I don't ever remember being this big of a thing. Now they're like, who's going to have the best social media and the release video? So, who won the NFL release as a team? Whose schedule release was the best in your eyes?
Oh, the Chargers. Come on, they had Harrison Butker in the kitchen, making food. The Chargers' social media release is just on another level. With what they have. I mean, the Raiders is kind of fun too, but the Chargers is just the best. You watch and go, oh my God, you're laughing the entire time. It's become a great day because it's not just about you find out the schedule. it's you find out that, oh, hey, guess what? Netflix has games now. You need 17 different streaming services if you want to see every single game in the NFL this year. You find out where your team is going. You find out my team, the Jets, is going to be on national TV like every week, the first 10 weeks of the season. So it's become that day of the calendar where they said, okay, we'll take just the release day or the schedule where you find out for your team, and it's, oh, let's make a road trip, let's make this, and they turn into this huge bit of pageantry that's just going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on. But mainly the big thing from yesterday, outside of, hey, who we want to look forward to the release with, man, you got to have Apple, you got to have Peacock, you have to have ESPN Plus, you have to have Netflix, you got to have Amazon, you got to have YouTube TV, you got to have Sunday Ticket. It's going to be like $900 if you want to see every NFL game.
Thanks, Jay. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy the show tonight.
You got it, man. Good luck to you. Now you got to wish good luck to me, so it works for both of us.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm cheering for the Canes, man. Hey, I was a huge Hartford fan for a long time, so I don't really love that they went to a new city, but I love Game 7. So go Hurricanes. I actually picked them to win the series, so I hope they win.
All right, and I'm looking for a 2006 rematch, which I'm sure you are as well.
Well, Oiler fans are. Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be fun. Yeah, I wouldn't like the flight, but other than that, I would like it. So.
Oh. Yeah, that is true. You forget about that. But when you get there, everything will be fine.
No, that's true. It'll be nice. Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Good luck, man. Talk to you soon.
There you go. That's Jason Smith, host of the Jason Smith Show here on Sports 1449 to midnight. Of course, coming out of Fox Sports. Let's get to the con man. When we come back, Kevin McClelland will join us. 40 years ago, he scored one of the biggest goals in Oilers history. Game 1 Stanley Cup final. Talk about that and more after Conman and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. They take the time to assess your commercial situation, ensuring that you get the coverage that is finely tuned to the nuances of your business. Support local, right here in Edmonton, highstreetinsurance.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers back in action out in Vancouver, taking on the Canucks. Game 5, the series tied at 2 games apiece. Puck drop about 8:15 in this one. One other game tonight, got the Hurricanes and the Rangers meeting in Raleigh. Hurricanes with a chance to stay alive as they're trailing 3-2. Sad news today as longtime TSN personality and SportsCenter host Darren Dutchyshen passed away after a long battle with cancer at the age of 57. Dutchyshen, of course, hosted Sports Night on ITV here in town before heading to TSN, where he was host of Sports Desk, SportsCenter, as well as the CFL and Olympics. In the association, just one game tonight of the Timberwolves and the Nuggets meeting in Minnesota. Tip-off 6:30. The Nuggets lead that series 3-2. In the majors, a light night, 7 games on the schedule. 1 done. Yankees knocking off the Twins 5-0. Later tonight, Phillies and Mets. The Rays are in Boston. Cubs take on the Pirates. Athletics in Houston, and the Dodgers up against the Cincinnati Reds. And at the PGA Championship right now, Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard at 9 under par. Tony Finau and Theegala 6 under. As far as the Canadians in the field, Adam Hadwin at 3 under, Adam Svensson -1. You got Taylor Pendrith +2, and Mackenzie Hughes right now still on the course. He's sitting at 2 over par through 9. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, of course, we'll be joined by our co-host, former NHLer Terry Ryan, also former Oiler Kevin McClelland, and we'll speed things up in the Cantork Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions assembled.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Hey Leduc, it's me, Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy. What you might not know is that I started practicing physio here in Leduc more than 23 years ago. In those years since, I haven't forgotten the kind and welcoming people that trusted me then. It feels great to be back, but I know we have to live up to our promise, and that's to live up to our name. This means bringing a leading edge focus on our environments, technology, communities, and the people who will care for you, like Graham Raymond and Amanda McIsaac, two locals who want to make a difference in your life. We're now open in Leduc. Learn more about us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
It's officially spring, but when the snow melts, the grass will grow. You'll find a wide selection of Echo spring cleanup equipment at the Lawnmower Hospital. From grass trimmers and chainsaws to log splitters and multi-tool systems, all backed by Echo's outstanding 5-year consumer warranty. Make spring yard care a breeze with Echo and the Lawnmower Hospital. LawnmowerHospital.com.
We're more than mowers, the Lawnmower Hospital.
Embrace the drive at GMC. Right now, lease the 2024 Terrain SLE from $218 bi-weekly. That's like $109 weekly at 5.9% for 24 months with $3,300 down on an ultra-low-kilometer lease. Get out to the best views with a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine and listen to all your favorite tunes along the way with available Amazon Alexa built in. Or maybe even no tunes at all. Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50. You get a free $50 wager with a $5 minimum deposit. Check it out now at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, if you want to go to the game on Saturday, we're going to do a little contest. We're going to take 12 entries of 100 bones. 12 people, put 100 bones in. One person's going to win. You get a pair of tickets to the game on Saturday for $100. And you'll help out 3 grads get their suits for Gregor's grads. All right? So if you want in, just text in with your name, and then we'll send you the details at the next commercial break. So first 12 people in to say with your name and your email. All right? Actually, just send your name first. That'll be good enough. First name, that'll be great. 833-401-1440. 1440 as we welcome in author, former NHLer, first rounder, and of course getting closer every day for the release of season 3 of Shoresy. Stars as Hitch. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
I forgot that the microphone is required.
Yeah. You got your
doing
coffee.
All right. Yeah, it's been a foggy day.
Geez, you're taking Struds as drinking your cup instead of drinking your popcorn. Yeah, I like that. So it's nice.
Well,
it's nice.
It's something to wake me up a little bit. It's been a long day. You know those days, everybody has them, and just you got to answer all your emails. Then you figure out, oh God, I didn't pay that bill. I thought I did. And then, oh God, I should have, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Oh, I've got to do, it's just one of those. It was a rabbit hole of terrible circumstances, but it all worked out. I'm here.
Oh, that's good. You haven't lost your wallet, so that's nice. So, hey, could be worse, TR. Could be worse. Now, we're going to get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Canada's the number one Volvo dealership in sales. Also, 13 years. Excellence Award winner in sales and service, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Our guest today, former Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup winner, scored one of the biggest goals in franchise history 40 years ago this month. It was actually 40 years ago on last Friday, May 10th. It was game 1 of the Stanley Cup final. The Oilers had lost the year before in the Cup final to the New York Islanders. They were facing them again. And in game 1, you need heroes that you don't necessarily expect. And Kevin McClellan came through in a 1-0 victory with the only goal of the game. He joins us now. Kevin, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're excellent, man. It's 40 years ago, but for you, and you must be able to remember that moment unlike any other moment in your career when it's a Stanley Cup final, it's game 1, it's a tight game, and you guys had some of the best offensive guys ever, but you guys come up with a huge goal. Kind of what was your memory? What do you remember about that moment? And then kind of maybe after the game?
Well, I just, that is one thing I remember. I forgot quite a bit about my playing career, obviously, over the years, but, that kept getting brought up all the time. But, I owe that all to my line mates there, Dave Hunter and Pat Hughes. They were terrific guys to play with when I got traded to that team. They were in there crashing and banging, and, I just happened to get loose in the slot, and Hughesy for the first time all season put it on my stick, and then ended up going in the net.
I watched the video actually earlier today, and hey man, you scored in the Stanley Cup final, the celebration's great. You guys are going crazy, especially when not that you weren't expected to score, you guys chip in, but obviously that wasn't your main role on that team. When you look back though, just how important that game was for you guys, not only that you win, but that you won by being good defensively as well.
Yeah, and obviously, you got to put Fierzy's name in there. He was fantastic in that game too, but the Oilers always, you always heard about, when they lost the year before. I wasn't there at that time, but 4 straight to the Islanders, they couldn't win any tight checking games. So, going into Long Island, that first game, and hearing all the stories from the guys that were there the year before, to win that game 1-0 was really something special. And, you had guys, Gratz and Mass and them all blocking shots and throwing hits, and, Randy, Greg, Kevin Lowe blocking shots. It was amazing. Just a team effort, and that's what you need this time of year in the playoffs.
Kevin, greetings from St. John's. When people saw that you were coming on, I got about 10 or 12 text messages. Yeah. It's great to talk, man.
That's awesome, man. I was pumped when I heard you were going to be on there, man. You're a legend down in St. John's, but when you said you're a little bit slow today and you used all those other excuses, you sure it wasn't because you were out a little late on George Street last night?
Well, that could have been one of the reasons. Circle gets the square. Yeah, for sure. And got something planned again tomorrow night. A lot of the guys are getting back from pro now, and it's a good time of year. Things are hopping. Look, what I'm intrigued in that series about is because that's it. You guys split on the road. That's one of the only series ever, though, that was 2-3-2. So when you're coming back, I think there's a lot to home advantage. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe there's not as much anymore. But in my head, I just know as a player, I had to really lock in to play on the road. If I'm coming back, I guess it's easy to get in a lull if you're at home. But were you guys aware that, okay, look, if we win our home games here, or were you just going one game at a time still, or did you realize there's 3 games here and they're all an hour burn, you know?
Yeah, well, I tell you, when we got back there and we got the split, and you're exactly right, home ice advantage, especially back in the days, there were some of the guys you had on your teams, like the rough guys, and it was intimidating going to a lot of buildings on the road, but, it was almost like when we got that split down Long Island coming back, you could just see the guys, the key guys, Lowe, Messier, Gretzky, their eyes light up going into Game 3. And I tell you what, you could tell it was going to be a long night for the Islanders, just in the dressing room getting ready for the game. And we win that game, and then we won them pretty easy, pretty convincingly. Game 3 and Game 4, and then Game 5. We had a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning of the third period, but we finished it off. But yeah, those guys just took over, man. That they didn't take any prisoners. That's for sure. They were ready. They didn't want to go back to Long Island because they knew how difficult it was to win in Long Island. So they had a lot to play for sure.
Now, when you were here in St. John's, a lot of people don't realize there was a lot of firsts happening. That was my first year away. I was 14. I went to BC, but I flew back a lot, and I watched you guys play. What I'm referring to, anybody that doesn't realize, Kevin came back and played with the St. John's Maple Leafs in the AHL, and it was their first year here. I believe it was their first year here, right? Huge deal.
First year, yep.
First year, huge deal. And didn't you guys go to the finals that year, and didn't the road team win every game, being a first? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. We played Adirondack in the finals, and we lost all 4 games at home and won 3 on the road. That was crazy, you know what I mean? But what an experience that was. I had to be honest. Got sent down to St. John's, and I had no clue where I was going, man. When I got there, though, it was unbelievable. The treatment and the people down there were amazing. That's where my ex-wife's from. We were married for 25 years. She's back there right now, but just an unbelievable time. It was great playing that first year. Had some good coaches there with Joel Quenneville and Mark Crawford. So real special time for St. John's people and for the guys that were playing on the hockey club.
Kevin McClellan joins us. Kevin, you know what? You had quite a run with Edmonton, and you came in during the first Cup season. You were acquired from Pittsburgh. Take me back to when you found out you got traded. You'd been in Pittsburgh. They weren't a very good team. And, who told you you're going to Edmonton, and kind of what was your initial reaction?
Well, it's funny because it was tough as a young guy in Pittsburgh there. Some of the older guys weren't too kind to the young guys, but I remember in practice, coach blew it down, and, he started ripping into me and telling me, he said, I'm costing the team games. And he said, you know what, you should go back to your hometown and be a plumber. He said, you can't stick your head around a lamppost. I'm going, oh, that's nice. So I was frustrated, got in a fight with Brian Maxwell in practice. And then because I did that, then I got sent down to Baltimore. So I went down to Baltimore, their American League team, and I played 3 games there. Went back to the hotel when we come back from the road, and I was walking through the lobby, and I got the lady at the front desk say, you have a phone call. I picked it up, and it was Glenn Saylor. Said, you got traded to Edmonton. I'm going, got traded to Edmonton. I said, okay, where's your farm team, man? I said, I can't play on the worst team in the league. I'm going to come play for the best team in the league. He said, no, you're coming to Edmonton. And I tell you, when I walked into that dressing room in Edmonton, it was like night and day. You know what I mean? I was in Pittsburgh spinning my wheels going, man, is this what the NHL is all about? I said, I want no part of it. But then I went to Edmonton. Just the class of the guys and how they welcomed you, and, it really made you feel comfortable, was unbelievable. And we're talking about guys like Messier and Gretzky and Lowe. It's amazing, you know what I mean? But real special time, and very shocked when I got that phone call.
And Kevin, you come in, and you know what? You were a really good checking center. You had good hands, and you were physical. You didn't mind dropping the gloves a few times. You had Dave Semenko and Donnie Jackson, and then Marty McSorley came along. The Edmonton fan base, they've always had this spot. Like, they really respected the guys who could play but weren't afraid to fight. Did you sense that right away, or just like, okay, you know what? Like, this is going to play. The team's fun, but the city really understands the role that I want to play.
Yeah, they like it. And I'm up here in Portage College in Lac La Biche, Alberta right now, and it's the same up around town and everything, talking to everyone. They loved that hockey back then, and they still like that type of hockey. And what a huge following you got up here in Lac La Biche as Oilers for sure. But they like their guys that went out there with their lunch pails and worked hard. And I did get in quite a few fights, and I had some pretty good tag team partners with Semenko and McSorley. And like you said, Don Jacks, Hunter was a feisty guy. Hughes was a feisty guy. So we had a bunch of them, that's for sure. But you need them back in the day.
You mentioned you're in Lac. Are you coaching there?
Absolutely. Coaching at the college up here. Great spot, man. Unbelievable. Good people, good town. Real solid people up here.
How long have you been coaching there?
This will be coming my fifth year.
Oh, jeez, I didn't know.
We're in the ACA. We're in the ACAC.
Yeah. No, I knew you'd be. Well, you coached minor pro for a long time, and so you got into coaching. I think your first year was with Barrie, if I'm not mistaken, as assistant coach in the late '90s, right? And then I think your first head coaching job was with the Raiders in the WHL. Were you always someone like late in your career? Were you thinking about coaching? Did you fall into it? How did you get the coaching bug?
Well, I tell you spend that much time in hockey, and then you all of a sudden, your career as a player comes to an end real quick. I mean, the time flies by. You guys know that. I don't got to tell you that. So you're sitting there at the end of your career, going, "Okay, what am I going to do? All right, I'm going to go and be a lawyer? Absolutely not. Am I going to be an accountant? Absolutely not." So, you can't pick up a pencil. You got to do something that you've done. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use what I learned and the experiences, just like I had told you about in Pittsburgh with a coach there compared to a coach in Edmonton. Glenn Saylor was just amazing. I'm going to take the good things that I learned, and I'm going to try and help young kids now, and got into the coaching.
You mentioned your time in the American League, and you had played in the NHL. You'd had lots of success. You're right. You'd won 3 Stanley Cups, and late in your career, Kevin, lots of guys, they can go down to the minors and maybe be bitter about it. I'd heard rumors that when you went down to say, like, you talked about how you were embraced there, but like, did you embrace that veteran guy? Because you spent the last 2 years of your career in the American League mainly. You did get a little time in Winnipeg, but in Rochester, were you at that point even, I'm not going to say Reg Dunlop, but were you a little bit of a player coach?
Yeah. Hey, did they take one of my names off the cup? I thought I had 4 cups.
Well, the order, were you on the 90 team? I forgot. Yeah, my bad. You're right. I forgot. For some reason, I was looking at the wrong stat line. Because you came back, right? You started the year in Detroit and then came back to Edmonton, right?
No, I won the first 4, and I got traded at Detroit in the 5th one.
Oh,
me and Jimmy Harrison.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, getting back to it. No, I was in Toronto, and I just I blew my knee out in Detroit. Just come back from ACL surgery, so they told me I was going down. They wanted me to look after the young guys down in St. John's, and like I said, it was new to me. I didn't know where I was going, man. I got down there, and it was unbelievable, but. It was great down there. We had some good young players there. The coaching staff was great. And like I said, the city was unbelievable, man. It was, one of the best places I ever played in, that's for sure. Great people down there. Just fantastic people. But I wasn't bitter at all. Went down there, did a lot of fighting down there too. And, carried on from what I did in the NHL. But, I enjoyed that role. And, it's caught up to me, obviously, later years of my life. But, it is what it is.
TR?
You know what I want to know about? I want to know about what you guys were thinking in 1988 in Boston when the power went out. It was 3-3, I think, in the second period. How did they go about? And I think it was game 4, and game 4 ends up being played back in Edmonton. So did they just wash out everything that happened in the first 2 periods?
Yeah, it was. That was crazy, man. It would have been the first time we would have won the cup on the road. So we never got to experience that. We were up. We were probably going to, we weren't up. It was tied, but we good chance we might have won on the road there. But it got all washed out. We went back and played game 4 in Edmonton, and again we got presented the Stanley Cup after game 4, but back in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin, when you guys won the cup, did you back then? Were you did you get a day with the cup?
No, in town we did. But half the time we were looking for it because Anderson forgot it in his trunk and didn't know where it was. So we didn't really get a day with it.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different now, right? Like guys get a full day, they take it to their minor hockey rink or, a family event and stuff like that. And obviously you didn't know any different at that point, but, you look at it now, you're kind of like, man, that would have been quite the experience because, you celebrated a lot as a team, but you weren't necessarily able to celebrate it with all the people that supported you.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been nice to be able to do that. But, I was fortunate that my parents were out and they were the biggest in my life and my career. My parents were in Edmonton to actually see me win the cup there and celebrate after the game. So it would have been nice to take it back and share it with my brothers and sisters and stuff like that and friends and the community of Oshawa, Ontario, but that never happened. I don't think that started coming until 95 maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Of your 4 championships, is there one that you remember, that stands out for any different reason? And if so, why?
Well, I just think the first one. From where I came, you know what I mean? In Pittsburgh, getting called down and, getting told to go home and be a plumber. I can't stick out around a lamppost. Well, you know what? I did get around that lamppost eventually and got to hoist that cup. So I think that was a good one. And, just to play with those group of guys was amazing and be part of that team. I'll take the first one anytime.
Was Lou Angotti your coach in Pittsburgh?
You know what? I purposely forgot what his name was, and I think maybe that was, but I can't really remember.
Okay, yeah, because I think he would have been.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was, yeah.
Have you ever ran into him since?
Absolutely. Right after I won the cup there, I went down to Fort Lauderdale and he owned a bar down there and ended up, walking into it and, no hard feelings, hard feelings. Hey, Lou, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And, maybe he woke me up a little bit too and, made me think about it and we'll play a little harder and stuff. So, there's always positive in every story and, no hard feelings with Lou. Maybe he, put that start to my underwear. You know what I mean?
Maybe. One last one. Being in Alberta right now, obviously you're watching the playoff game. What do you make of this Vancouver-Edmonton series?
That's a good series. I at the beginning, I would have thought Edmonton was going to, not have a very hard time of it, but it's turned out to be a good series. But I think Edmonton's starting to wear them down. I don't know. We'll see tonight, but obviously who I'm pulling for, and I hope they get the job done.
Kevin, we really appreciate your time. Continued success coaching.
Appreciate it. Terry. Hey, great hearing your voice, man. And tell all the people down in St. John's I said Big Mac says hi, all right?
I certainly will. It's great talking to you again. And by the way, I don't know if you heard Todd Gillingham passed. He spoke highly of you, so I don't know if you knew that. But anyway.
When did he pass?
Just about a year ago.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I know. I should have honestly. I should have reached out. I tried to, and I reached out to a lot of his buddies, and I'm sorry to say I really should have. But anyway, now you know, and hopefully we can talk about it over beers one day or something.
Sounds good. Well, he was a player when I was down there too that I really enjoyed. So,
if you want to know more about it, honestly, I'll get these guys to give you my number, and you just shoot me a text or something, and we'll have a chat. I know I say it because he was a real good friend of mine, a player with a teammate. He transcended hockey. He was a good friend, and he spoke highly of you.
Yeah, he was a good man, that's for sure. Well, Terry, hey, sorry to hear that, my friend, but again, great talking to you. Please tell all the people in St. John's, Newfoundland, Macker says hi, all right?
I certainly will, buddy. Nice talking to you too. See ya.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
TR, Kevin McClelland was one tough player.
Yeah,
He was one of the guys, like, he was totally comfortable in his role. And some days, like, I remember, Dave Semenko telling me, he goes, honestly, like, I think Kevin liked fighting more than a lot of guys. Like, he was never intimidated by it. He would fight anybody. And there was a while there where he was like, you know what? I've gone a few games. I haven't got into one, so I need to get into one.
Yeah, and he was on like Rock'em Sock'em so much. I remember he was throwing the water bottle at Bird Dog. Bird Dog's another guy.
Yes.
But and fighting, and so a lot of people thought he was a fighter. If you watch closely, I mean,
he
I
was
watched
skilled, man.
Yeah, man, he was a great player. So like, you can imagine when the Leafs came, we couldn't believe we had the Toronto Maple Leafs farm team. I remember going, what? It was like a few years ago when weed became legal. Remember, like 2 years before that, you'd say it's not going to happen that won't happen for 100 years. Like it just kind of snuck up. Like we're like, okay, people think we're just all fishermen and we're conveniently far away, but it's nice to visit if we can. We never thought there's a chance we're getting the Toronto Maple Leafs farm team. And not only do we get them, Kevin McClellan's on the team, 4-time cup winner. Like, it was bonkers. People here absolutely loved him. He owned the whole city. They love the team, but he speaks of it highly because I remember that I was 14 years old, but years later he came back to coach and I hung out with him a little bit, after games or whatever. But, he's if you were to bring up the 91-92 St. John's Maple Leafs to people around here, they'd say Kevin McClellan, and then second they'd go, oh, we made it to the final.
All right. I love it. We'll take a quick break. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440. We do have our 12 entries. We're just waiting. Some of you are on the waiting list, but we have our 12. We'll just wait till everybody gets their donation in, and then we will do the draw. And somebody's going to win a pair of sweet seats to Game 6 on Saturday night. We'll come back on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter gets Shakespearean.
To plumb or not to plumb? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the clogs and leaks of outrageous toilets, or to take arms against a sea of faulty flapper valves, and by replacing, end them. To flow, perchance to stream. Aye, there's the plumb.
For a bard who's 5-star, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive. 780-452-5001.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Got my spine, got
Oh, welcome back. We're running a little bit late. This will be a short segment. We kept Kevin a little bit later. Hey, but that's okay, man. 40 years ago this month, the Oilers' first Stanley Cup. Of course, McClellan, a huge goal. 19. We got a lot of people texting. Guys, I still remember that goal. I'm old, but it was awesome. From Bob. Oh, I can imagine. Think about it. If you were an Oiler fan back in 94, you had lost the year before in 1983 to the Islanders. Now you're back in the Cup final. And remember, in 82, you'd had one of like the worst losses, right? That was the miracle on Manchester. The Oilers, I think they had 56 or 55 more points than LA in the regular season. No joke. They had like 119 points. The Kings were brutal, but they made the playoffs, and the Oilers lost in 5 games. And so it's not always just, you're a great team, you win all the time, man. Sometimes you need a tough loss, and that was theirs. Then they went to the Cup final, lost. And so that game one, I'm sure Oilers fans, I kind of remember, but I don't really remember. I was too young. I don't remember like the angst, but I would think as an Oilers fan, you're just like, oh, okay, oh my God. Then you win finally. You beat them in that, and you beat them 1-0, where people probably don't expect you can win a tight game like that. And then obviously the rest is history. They won 4 cups in the next 5 years. Not bad. TR, you look at, as McClellan said about the Oilers, a lot of people are kind of expecting this series maybe to be a little bit easier than it is. I do think the Oilers have made it a little bit harder on themselves, right? They blew a 4-1 lead in game 1. Obviously didn't get the goaltending they would like at times, but I want to get your thoughts. I crunched the numbers and I looked at all of the series here in the second round. There's 8 teams left. The Edmonton Oilers have the lowest percentage by a significant margin. The percentage of their 5-on-5 shots, only 53% have come from forwards, right? The New York's at 83. That's the highest, but most teams are like 68, anywhere to 83, but the Oilers are at 53, right? And they only have 3 goals. Like Vancouver, you see what they're doing, right? Like they like to pack the house, if we want to call it that. What do the Oilers forwards 5-on-5 need to do to get more shots and more traffic?
That doesn't surprise me at all. I think it's, I don't want to say effort because they're trying their hardest, but you just got to bear down a little bit more. That's it. You got to take that route. They're hard routes. You just have to do it. Some players are doing it. Some players aren't. Sometimes that little hard play before the final goal, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been a little bit before, but Evander Kane finished a hit, right?
Yep.
Right? Like it was late for me here in Newfoundland, and it's been a busy day, but I recall that. So like, that I know that's not what you're asking, but that's just a little bit like had he not just done that, it wouldn't have been totally obvious. But the fact that he did it led to a goal. So you just got to do it. You just got to go. I mean, Corey Perry's older. He doesn't skate as fast, but if a lot of players took that approach when it came to going to the net, you're going to get more shots from around there and more goals. Because, I mean, a lot of them are just rebounds in front. It's just whacking at the puck, just whack at it. But unfortunately, for a lot of people that like to play timid, that's the way it is. And you got to play that way in the playoffs. If you don't, then you're and like, let's face it, the Oilers are underachieving. They should really be up 3-1.
Yeah.
And they could, they could have done this 4 straight. I really do believe it. Now, not here to say they're playing poorly or anything, but that didn't surprise me one bit. You got to take it to the hole. You got to take those slashes, and it sends a message too, right? Because when the other team hears stats like that, it probably doesn't surprise their D. They're realizing, these guys aren't going to take the hard route. To me, it's almost black and white. It's just a little bit of effort.
Yeah. Like I know it sounds simple, and maybe it is simple. Like, just, you know what? Go to the middle. Like the Oilers, I think what we're seeing is they're cycling the puck lots, right? Like they'll come up their cycle and then the other guy's reversing, but it's Vancouver's like, all right, play on the outside here. So eventually they're just going to have to say, okay, tonight we're going to take the guy. We're not going to have the other forward stay on the outside with me. He's going to go to the net and we're just going to dump it there and see if we can get some rebounds because like they only have 49 shots 5-on-5. That's an average of 12 per game from your forwards.
Brutal. And you also might, sorry to cut you off, you might draw a penalty there, right?
Yes.
As well. Like you just got to go a little bit harder, especially if you're around the net. Each little hook, even sometimes one hand on the stick, trip me. But make it hard, create friction. I know what you're saying because and the Oilers are so good at creating that space that they always think that there's a chance that someone's going to be wide open for a shot. But, even guys who are experienced NHLers are guilty of falling for that trap. You just got to take it to the hole, man. That's the way it goes.
We got a lot of texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, do you think Perry's foot speed has become too much of an issue and he just can't get there anymore? What do you think? I think it's a fair question, Don. I haven't seen him necessarily lose puck, but he's not going to separate from anyone when he's skating up the ice, right? That's not happening. But he's playing with Foegele and McLeod. They've got the speed. Not every guy has to be a burner, but I do think you need to see more like those two. McLeod, he's got if I'm Corey Perry, I'm sitting down with Ryan McLeod and say, dude, if I see you come down the wing and go behind the net one more time rather than take it to the net, we're going to have a conversation. Right? At some point, he's got to challenge him. Does he not, TR? McLeod's been excellent in the defensive zone. Excellent defensively. But from the offensive side of center, he hasn't really done anything offensively. And we see his speed. He comes in, and then what is it doing? Either button hooks or he takes it behind the net. Go to a sharp angle, dip your shoulder, and get to the damn net.
Totally. And I totally agree. And when I think the caller or the texter asked about Perry. So to answer that question, do you think his foot speed's not there anymore? Well, it's not, but that's why you adjust your game, right? He was a former MVP. He's not going to win those races, but once he gets in there, it's great if you could have all the young players do the same. If McLeod could do the same, great. We'd have a super player that we're talking about, but we don't. He's there to influence those guys. And, not every player on every winning team is naturally rough. We want them to be when we're watching, but it rubs off. And the other thing about Perry is that he knows what to do to make himself effective. I don't know. Think of Rolly Fingers or I don't know, Goose Gossage at the end of their, they're guys who were using grease balls. R.A. Dickey, how am I going to stay in the league? Knuckleballs. I got to figure it out. How am I? Corey Perry's figured it out more than anybody else, most his age. And now his effectiveness doesn't lie in the foot speed. Yes, it's lost a lot. It's certainly not where it needs to be on the first line in the NHL, but he's not. So I think it's fine. And I do. And I often use guys like McLeod and Holloway as an example, but I don't mean that they're poor players or anything. I mean, they're playing sufficient and they're playing fine. Or more.
I've actually liked Holloway's playing.
Holloway gets more confidence. You see, that's a young guy getting confidence. I love where he is in his career because it's not overwhelming him. Right. He wants the puck. He wants it now. Anybody coming in, not just him, but a couple of years ago, even in exhibition, you're timid. Do I want it now? I'll dump it in and I'll make the safe play. Now he's trying a little bit, right? And that's growth as a player that you're watching, largely due to the veterans on the team like Corey Perry.
Yeah. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. When we return, some of you like the double-double. Somebody's going to try the double. We'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at PlayAlberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its third season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
Join Kidsport Edmonton's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction, June 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bell in Scona. Celebrate 29 years of Kidsport with 90s attire and courage. Tickets are $75, including entry into a mountain getaway draw. Enjoy a night of sports talk, appetizers and bevies, silent auction, 50-50, and a beer tree raffle. All funds raised support local Kidsport Kids registration fees. Visit kidsportbidsforkids.com for tickets. Event is 18+.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks to get paid top rates. Contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
We roll through a lovely Thursday afternoon. It's game day. Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. No lineup changes for your Edmonton Oilers. The Canucks, they got a fair amount. Susie's back in for Jolson's suspension. That's no surprise. But up front, Höglander comes in. Di Giuseppe comes back in. He missed a few games for personal reasons. And Podkolzin will make his series debut. Carlson is out. Lafferty comes out, and Ilya Mikheyev. Did you know that Ilya Mikheyev has 1 goal in his last 60 games? He went 34 games without a goal, then he scored once. Then he went the final 15 regular season games without a goal, and now he has no goals, no points in the first 10 playoff games this season. Yikes. That's not a good year for old Mikheyev. So we'll get more of that after 4:00. But hey, we're going to speed things up. Lots to discuss in the Racing Report, brought to you by Cantork. They have the new machining capacity in-house, quicker turnarounds, improved quality control, and ultimate flexibility. Give them a call, 436-2000, and they can help you out, or check it out at cantork.com. As Colin Livingston joins us once again. Colin, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Oh, it's another day in paradise. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we are good. Let's start with IndyCar this time, and it's pretty competitive, man. You had last race was dominated by Scott McLaughlin. Then he can't even get out of the first round of qualifying. So it's now he did have a great race. I think he ended up in the top 5, but it just like IndyCar, man, it is tight right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun to watch. I'm a race fan. I mean, obviously we do the race report every week, but I love watching great racing, which is why I still spend so much time at the go-kart track. Why we're still spending so much time in the NASCAR Pinty series, and then watching professional racing on TV, because it's IndyCar is just so competitive and so unpredictable. Scott McLaughlin was untouchable at Barber. Like he could drive away from people on command. He got shuffled back into the pack. Granted, he had a better fuel mileage strategy, so he was able to run full power with better tires. But yeah, to go from that to not getting out of Q1 the next week, going from road course to from road course to road course. It just shows that if you don't have everything, kind of perfect, you're not going to be at the front. But at the same time, the difference from, being first to being 20th right now in a lot of these qualifying sessions, I mean, the gap is only like 0.3 or 0.5 of a second. So you've got to have a lot of luck on your hands. But yeah, I mean, and then that being said, he was able to drive right back up to 5th anyway. So they managed to get it right on race day.
Now, there's two things I'm curious about when it comes to Colton Herta. First of all, how do you run out of gas in your last lap of qualifying? And then he finished, so he goes from 24th, but he raced all the way to 7th, which is pretty damn impressive to make that many passes during the race. But where's the miscommunication that you run out of gas?
So it was just a miscalculation. Their team strategist is an old friend of ours, a guy named Rob Edwards with Andretti Autosport. Rob's done it all, been everywhere, from Formula One through, the last probably 25 years in IndyCar. Really they just made a calculation error. They were counting on, one type of mileage. But again, these are the kinds of things that you need to do to have that advantage, because if they calculated as little fuel as possible to save as much weight as possible, they just cut it on the thin edge. Really they were only about, I think they were 3 corners away from making it. So they were literally like a liter, maybe a liter and a half away from getting it very, very right. But that being said, that's the kind of margin that they're playing with. But managed to bounce back and should be okay now that we've gone to Indy 500 mode.
Colin, good to see you again, by the way. Why did the Indy race only have 8 of the 100 laps with a leader?
Okay, so that goes back, just a neat thing that I found a couple weeks ago. The first race of the year at St. Petersburg, the drivers in positions 1 and positions 2 that originally won the race and finished second, Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin, were disqualified. So as I was going back and kind of looking up some stats for this week, with Will Power, who has now racked up 3 second place finishes, I know he's kicking himself and he's getting super frustrated that he hasn't actually pulled off the win. When I went back and looked at the scoring sheet from the St. Pete race, there was only one car that led 1 lap in the top 15. So it's just kind of an anomaly, because the guys who dominated the race were DQ'd. So their laps led didn't count. Patricio O'Ward, who was inherited the win, didn't actually lead a lap. So it's just one of those statistical anomalies that I thought looked kind of funny.
With the focus shifting now to the Indy 500, do you think Kyle Larson, he's going to try to pull off the double? What are his chances there?
Well, he's definitely going to pull it off. I mean, Kyle Larson is a full-time NASCAR Cup Series driver, racing with McLaren the next 2 weeks for the 500. So it's something that's been attempted a number of times in the past with most recently it was 10 years ago with Kyle Busch. The guy that kind of made it famous was Tony Stewart and Robbie Gordon back in the late 90s and 2000s, where it's all kind of centered around NASCAR drivers coming over to do the Indy 500. It hasn't really happened the other way, where you take an IndyCar driver and get them to fly out and run the Coca-Cola 600 at night. He's got a good shot. I mean, he's in great equipment. He is probably going to be the best prepared driver. I mean, they announced this, I think, almost 2 years ago. He's been testing with the team over the last year. So he's run some of the open testing at Indianapolis. He did a test at Phoenix, which is no longer an IndyCar track, but they wanted to get him laps and kind of learn how the car handles and how it behaves in clean air versus following someone. Lots of time in the simulator. It'll be fun to watch for sure. I mean, whether he's got a shot at winning or not, I mean, if you're in the field, you definitely have a chance. But the most successful attempt at the double was I think it was Tony Stewart, who managed to complete every lap. So to run a 500-mile race is brutally difficult. If it's going to be hot on Indy Sunday, it's going to be really, really tough on the drivers. So then to go from there and then to jump into a stock car for 600 laps later on that night, it's a crazy physically demanding feat. If he can manage to do all whatever it is, all 1,100 miles, it's going to be a win.
Yeah, just to finish would be quite impressive. I think Stewart's, as you mentioned, he's the only guy who's done it. Now, the training went on today. There was some pretty hard hits in practice. You don't necessarily see that often. Lundqvist and Ericsson hit the wall pretty hard. A lot of damage to their cars. Now, obviously, they got time to fix it. But what's kind of your expectations leading up to arguably well, not arguably, but for sure, I think the marquee event on IndyCar.
Yeah, I mean, it's they've got time to get the cars ready, but I mean, they start qualifying on Saturday, so they're already running out of time. You can't see what I'm watching here, but I've got Indy 500 practice on. There's only 2.5 minutes left. They've been plagued with rain, but Lundqvist and Ericsson made same mistake at different parts of the track. As they were turning down, they got their left front tires onto the curbing, which just it instantly unloads the chassis. It's almost unrecoverable if you get that low. Whether or not they're going to be able to fix these cars, or if they have to go to their backups and get those up, their crews have very, very long nights. But one thing for people who are going to be watching, whether it's the first time or if you've just never really paid attention, watch the cars when they get on the straightaway, because the cars will always pull away from the outside wall and drive towards the middle, almost to the left side of the track. And when you see them do it in the race, it's almost like it looks like they're trying to block, which in the race they are. But even when they're running single car laps, they'll pull to the middle of the track, to the left side of the track, because the cars throw off so much turbulence. If they were driving up against the wall, they would it's called buffeting. They would get shaken so violently, they'd almost lose control. So when you're watching these cars, if anyone's got the online streaming apps or when it comes to qualifying, when they're on the tracks by themselves, just watch for that. It's kind of a neat anomaly, especially at Indy with the way the track's set up.
And the NASCAR Pinty Series is getting set. Of course, the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Clarington, Ontario. That's where you're going to start the season. That's usually, I think, where it is. How's the year shaping up?
Well, it's the first race of the year. Alex is he's at a Toronto Motorsports Park, just shaking the car down. We're not allowed to test at a race venue within a week of the race. So this is going to be the first year we're kind of on our own, teamed up with another driver, Donald Teege. who runs the 80 car. Donald's going to run the oval races. Alex is going to compete on the road course. So we've really only got 4 races this year that are scheduled as of now. No idea what to expect. The car was good last year. This was the first time that it was a brand new car at the beginning of the season. We never really got it working properly. So hopefully they can shake out a couple of the bugs here today. And, more than anything, I hope we have a clean race on the weekend. We don't need to start with a lot of damage and a lot of trouble. But Alex is, he's a smart driver. He's still, one of the best that we've got. So as long as he listens to a spotter, he should be okay.
Awesome. Colin, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Have a fun weekend.
You bet. Thanks, boys.
There you go. That's the Racing Report brought to you by Cantork. When we return, Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440. We are going to get a lot deeper into the Oilers taking on the Vancouver Canucks. A lot of lineup changes, so we'll dive into that. Also, I'll talk a little bit more about Dutchyshen. We'll get to Ryan's rant here on the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first, let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Up until June 8th, stop in and you can save up to $200 on a set of 4 tires, including Goodyear, only at fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Bad news today as longtime TSN personality and Sports Center host Darren Dutchyshen passed away after a battle with cancer at the age of 57. Dutchyshen, of course, started in town on Sports Night on ITV before heading to TSN, where he hosted Sports Desk as well as the CFL and the Olympics. In the NHL tonight, we've got 2 games. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers meeting the Vancouver Canucks, Game 5 of their second-round series. Currently tied at 2 games apiece. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock in that one. Before, we got the Hurricanes and the Rangers meeting in Raleigh, with the Rangers leading 3-2. In the association, just 1 game on the schedule. Nuggets and Timberwolves meeting in Minnesota. That one gets going at 6:30. Denver leads that series 3-2. Major League Baseball, one final earlier today. The Yankees blanked the Twins 5-0. Still to come tonight, Mets in Philadelphia. The Red Sox host the Rays. Pirates take on the Cubs. Athletics in Houston, and the Dodgers hosting the Cincinnati Reds. PGA Championship underway. A couple of golfers still remaining on the course, but right now Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard at 9 under par. 2-way tie. Tony Finau and Tahiti Tigala both 6 under. As for the Canadians, right now Adam Hadwin is 3 under. You've got Adam Svensson -1, Taylor Pencheth 1 over par, and Mackenzie Hughes still on the course. He is 3 over through 13. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear another edition of Ryan's Rant. We'll be joined by Kevin Carius of the Kevin Carius Show and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
When you want to recognize the top performer on your team, come create memorable and customized trophies and awards with Elite Promotional Marketing. Elite's in-house design team will help you achieve your corporate award goals. Head to elitepromomarketing.com.
Thinking of building a garden suite above your detached garage for aging loved ones? Make a RAM elevator part of that plan. RAM Elevators and Lifts understands that an elevator is more than a mechanical device. It's accessibility and safety, and it's an easy addition that can be added in a space as small as 3.5 by 4 feet with standard 8-foot ceilings. North American made and rated as the best residential elevators by Forbes magazine. Grounded simplicity, elevated design. Click on trustram.com.
AccuSteel heavy haul trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel heavy haul trailers. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Scott here from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our biggest sale of the year. This month, every new and used vehicle we have has been marked down and priced to sell. We have Ram trucks that are 25% off, brand new trucks, and we have hundreds to choose from. We have 0% financing up to 72 months on Grand Cherokee. Even though we know our prices are great, every single offer will be considered. We will work to get you the best financing terms. We will pay top dollar for your trade. We will do what it takes to earn your business. It's our biggest sale of the year, and it's on now at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
.407. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan on a lovely Thursday. It's game day. Oilers and the Canucks. Lots of people wondering about start time for game 6. We do not know yet. It will depend on what happens between the Rangers and the Hurricanes. If the Rangers win, then I fully expect the Oilers Canucks game will be a 6:20 start because it's the only game on Saturday night. It would be absolutely mind-blowing to not have that game start like they normally would. Because you get to the third and fourth round when there's one game a day on the weeknights, and definitely on a week. Now, there's the odd time you'll get an afternoon game in the U.S. They like one Sunday here or there. You'll get one, but they're not going to have a Saturday night hockey night in Canada saying, oh, we're going to play Edmonton, Vancouver at 8:20. Like, please tell me they're not that like foolish. We saw last round when Dallas and Vegas started at 5:30 on the Sunday night. So I've been told pretty confidently that it would be a Saturday 6:20 start if there's only one game. Now, if there's two, they'll likely go Rangers, Carolina as the early game, and then Oilers and the Canucks. Now, I understand people say, well, why wouldn't you start at 3 o'clock, which is 5 Eastern? I get it, but they obviously have their reasons. So there you go. That's what we're hearing in regards to that. Now, let's get to Ryan's rant, brought to you by Action Electrical, where, hey, man, they got projects. They got if you need electrical work done, you need a project made up, they can help you out. You are thinking about solar on your home or commercial, they can help you out there too. You can get a 10-year interest-free loan. They can help you line that up, courtesy of the government. Check it out at actionelectrical.net. Here's TR.
Thank you, Jason. So I had a question for my podcast called Tales with TR, by the way. And it was do I think there's a clutch gene? And it really made me think, because on the surface, looking at people that are successful, you'd say yes. I don't think there's a gene. Now, I'm going to tell you where I'm coming from. Now, I can only tell you stories that relate to myself, so I don't want to seem self-indulgent, but I'll talk about myself and my father. If you're asking me gene, right? So, because, I mean, it's probably not a big deal in a lot of big cities, but in Newfoundland, I mean, we're the only father-son combo I know that played pro to that level, the WHA and the NHL, albeit brief, but we did it. So people would say there's something to it. My daughter's, on the provincial soccer team. Is there something to it? I don't know. As far as gene, I think maybe that'll take you so far and being able to like maybe hit a ball or some athletic maybe part. Now, clutch, that's tough because whatever sport you're playing, there's odds are there's bounces involved and there's a team involved. So all I know is that growing up, I remember my dad, and he's a good baseball Hall of Fame in Newfoundland, but that'd probably make you one step ahead of being a great hockey player from Jamaica. But whatever, he's there. I was, I was witnessing as bat boy, some top amateur athletes play together. Then, of course, he coached hockey after that, junior and senior blades. And I'd be like the stick boy and I'd be around them. And I remember certain guys, and he was one of those, going like, if it's tied in the 9th inning, I want to be up to bat. If it's a penalty shot in overtime, I want to take it. And I wasn't one of those early. I really had to like almost reach inside for that. But at some point, I remember it happened. I don't know if it was, getting better at the sport I was playing or whatever. But by the time I was like 15, 16, like by the time I got to major junior, I was a determined player. And yeah, give me the puck. Give it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a level of nervousness. But then I remember like going into playoffs and situations like that. And again, I can't speak for the NHL playoffs. I can't, but there's all kinds of levels. And, I still play amateur sports. And I'm just telling you as an athlete that most people out there can relate. It doesn't have to be the NHL, but you've all been there. It could be Glee Club, but at the end of the year, there's going to be a performance in front of 3,000 people. Now we got to really come together as a team here, right? Like, so, and who wants it? Who wants to get out there and do it? So, as far as hockey, like I remember my first couple of years in the West and even in Quesnel playing junior A in a tough league, I remember going into play like in Spokane in the Boone Street Barn, they called it, with a lot of tough players.
Oh,
yeah. Like real tough, it was regular season was one thing, but, and the boards would like bend and it was the plexiglass kind of, and it was just like, the hits seemed bigger than they were. And everybody, especially my first couple of years and, guys like Kerry Toporowski, coming in, he tried to set the record. He had 500 and something penalty minutes with 10s not counted. Each team had like 200 and 300, and that's just the guys who fight. That's which is pretty much everybody. But there's hits and cross checks, and I really remember having because my nature is I was scared. I have to be honest. I hate using that word. I'm embarrassed by it. I was embarrassed by it, but I used to go in the mirror and go like, "You got to wake up. You're terrified," and I was, and I know what Rick Tocchet talks about when he says like, there's got 50-50 pucks, we're not getting to them. And, everybody has a way. You can be an expert at getting to the point and not blocking that shot. Ooh, I took the wrong angle. Or, you don't have to finish your hit like Kane did there. And he doesn't every time. But when he does, look what happens. So, like, I remember my instinct. Like, sometimes you look at players that are struggling and you got to wonder, like, is that going through his head? Right? I'm not even going to name anybody anymore. But there's players in the playoffs that aren't quite stepping up. I'm not talking about the Oilers either. I'm talking about in general. We often wonder because going back to that clutch gene, and I'm going, if you were to ask me, you'd think Nathan McKinnon, yes. Brad Marchand, yes, right? Yep. There's people in my ball hockey or career, you might laugh when I say that, but, been to Worlds and stuff. And there's people would say I do. But the thing is, you play long enough. If you want that puck or you want to be up to bat and you want that ball if you're a pitcher, right? Eventually you're gonna thrive. If you're a batter, a great batting average, great, is 350. Great, like phenomenal. Like no one's hit 400 since Ted Williams. So the odds are you're gonna get out. But what separates the men from the boys, I think, and now there's so many women playing in professional leagues, I should say, what separates the adults from the kids, okay, is wanting that in the first place. And I remember like thinking, and Bob Laux put it, he was my coach in junior, and I remember like same thing, man, going into Kamloops, playing Strutty and the boys, and like they were stacked and they were tough, and like the Riverside Coliseum, and you'd be like, man, like I got to get jacked up for this because I'm terrified, right? Like I really have to do it. And so people that want that, eventually it will. Like eventually, not every time Darcy Tucker went out there did he score a goal, but he ended up getting meaningful goals, a lot of them in whatever league he played in, because he wants it. And some people, I remember Bob Lauk saying, you're going out there. I said, I hate to say, like, you don't want to intend to injure, but we want to keep running Baumgartner and Strudwick and Holland and Keller and these guys, their D-men thing, just like dumping in, and just because they're going to know you're coming. He goes, in essence, you want to hurt them. You want to bruise them. We don't, but that's essence. That's what we're doing. If we're saying be physical. So he used to say, do you want to do you want to be the one doing the hurting, or do you want to be scared to get hurt? And, and sometimes that's the thing. And hockey's so physical and it can be so intimidating. And especially on the road when there's tough teams involved and cameras and everything else. And it's easy to kind of just make it look good. And, hopefully maybe I get an assist. Maybe I get 2 points. I pass this. And this is smoke and mirrors. But you can tell when you're watching the guys that really grab the game, that give their balls a tug, for lack of a better way to put it. Shorzy season 3 out May 24th. But, so I think that's what it is. I think it's just reaching inside, because that's there naturally. I don't know, whatever. Some people aren't naturally. Kevin McClellan probably naturally wants to go out and sorry, I did that again. Sorry. He wants to hit everybody on the ice. That's not where I am naturally, okay? But I know what it's like. But it sometimes it's in the recesses of your brain. There's something down there that you just got to grab and get rid of it and just go out and go. So clutch gene, I don't know about. I think it's the way you approach it, the respect for your teammates, and just the willingness to go out there and want the puck in the big situation. And eventually you're going to score in that big situation or be a part of something big like Evander Kane was. And I think that is what a lot of people might assess as the clutch gene. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a gene, but that's what I think. And if nothing else, put yourself in the position to have people talk about that gene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Bouchard has shown here in the postseason that, he's got 3 goals. And it's 1 goal and a 1-0 win, an overtime goal, and then one with 39 seconds. Now, I know the overtime goal, you got a little bit lucky, but still, you know what? There's a guy who, is holding on to the puck. Like his game winner in game 4, Terry, where he moves and he's moving because he's like, hey, I want to get into a shooting lane, right? He just didn't get the puck because you're like, oh, I got the puck. I'm just going to shoot it. Oh, it got blocked. But hey, I tried, right? Like he was shooting to score or get a really high percentage shot. And I think Matthias Ekholm said, the moment's never too big for him, because I do think sometimes people will, not that they're scared of the moment, but you rush things, right? You don't realize, hey, I got more time here, and this is just a normal game. Because I even see it with young kids where we get into a playoff, and all of a sudden, like before the game, I can see and I'm like, guys, it's just play it. Like it's just the same time, right? And you can see it for some people is, I think half of it's probably mental, that you might psych yourself out, right? Like you said, you had to psych yourself up sometimes to figure out, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to fight. I don't really like to do it. And once you do it once or twice, you're like, okay, it's not going to kill me. I still don't like it, but I got through it. And I think for some players, like there's a reason why lots of players, their first time in the playoffs, it's not as successful as they are in the regular season, right? Like we can go through the list of guys, Connor McDavid, Pavel, not that McDavid was terrible, but if you look at his postseason compared to his regular season where he had 100 points and then he only had 9 points in 16 games, right? Like that's a pretty big difference. So
that's a great example. Yeah.
Right. And Pavel Datsyuk took like 3 or 4 years in the playoffs and then now some guys have it right away. So like Leon Draisaitl, right? So it's kind of odd from different player to player, but or 9 and 13. It wasn't 9 and 16 for McDavid. But anyway, I do find it interesting how, you have to learn sometimes, right? Like the physicality, like I'm assuming for a guy who's not necessarily comfortable being physical, it takes you a while to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And you realize that I have to do this as a player because I'm going to be better. I'm going to be a better teammate. My stats are going to be better. I'm going to put myself in position for a better contract. All I have to do is sack up a little bit here, but there is a level of, it's not total fear. It's nervousness to make a mistake too. I mean,
that's
a good one.
Yeah.
So, and you can see as players start to blossom, right? And I mean, so I guess I've been dancing around it, but the the clutch gene is taking that knowledge and you know, that willpower and reaching inside. Now, the further you get, the better teammates you got.
Yeah.
There's more inside to grab at, right? Like, again, I'll use Holloway. We're not talking about a guy who likes to go out and rock people's worlds or get in fights or anything else, but he's a talented player that now he gets it. One, you know, if that has been his first year, he's called up, I think it would have been a fish out of water. But, you know, you gradually, you know, and eventually, if you want that biscuit enough, Draisaitl's probably the best example I can think of, actually. You know, you just see there's a different element, and it's confidence, and it's like, you're not going to beat me, right? And you don't have that when you're you know, when you're young coming through. I guess maybe you would, but for most players like myself, you can learn it and absorb it and almost feel it like by osmosis. Like if you really believe it and absorb yourself in the moment and become a good playoff player, I think that gets addictive and it becomes part of your personality. Even though, however, whatever gets you there, get there. You know, some people are natural, some people aren't, but whatever gets you there. And I think that getting there and just wanting it in the right situation, that I think is the biggest part of the clutch gene.
I also think like learning to be a scorer from a young age is important. And I think that sometimes in minor hockey now that's lost on some people. It's like, oh, everybody's always got to be on the traveling team and everybody's got to be. I'm like, well, no, because now you're putting kids in the traveling team who aren't learning the pressure of being a regular scorer every game. Like, to be the best player on your team isn't easy, right? Like, people come to games and they expect you to score, right? And now you expect to score. And when you're young and cocky, I don't think you're that too worried about it. But as you grow up, go through the ranks, it learns to, okay, guess what? I know I got to bear down in the key situation. I'm the first line center. I'm the first line right winger. My role here is expected to score. In the WHL, it's why a lot of offensive defensemen come out of the junior ranks, TR, and they got to learn to play defense. Because in junior, they're like, well, no, you're expert. Yeah, it's great if you can play defense, but we want you to score, right? And so it takes a while, but that's a skill that I think gets overlooked in sports. And it's not one that you yell and scream. Doesn't mean they score all the time, but even just scoring, you know, every game in U11, U13, I don't care what level you're at. You can be in AA, you can be in tier 4. And every level, there's going to be the kids on your team that are expected to score and the kids on your team that aren't. That's just, it happens at every, like the NHL is the best league in the world. There's fourth line players and they're really good against the rest of the world. But in the NHL, they're fourth line players. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's their role.
Yeah, the best example I can think of what you just said, I'm a big proponent of that. I always say to kids in minor hockey or parents that hopefully Bobby gets on the team and sneaks on. I'm like, I don't know. I think Bobby needs room with the puck, and he can't quite keep up. He might be good for the team on the fourth line on this minor hockey team to help the actual team win because he's meat and potatoes, but he also needs to work on his hands, and he's only going to do that if he's got more room. And AA isn't horrible. Let him move with the puck, and in a few years, he'll grow into a great checker, whatever but he also will have a little bit of hands. The best example is Ryan Clough. Clough is from St. John's, Fermuse, Newfoundland, Southern Shore, around St. John's. And, a couple times coming up, and he would play with us often in shinny and roller hockey in the summer, and his hands were incredible. But when he would make those teams, he couldn't skate. He was like Bambi on ice. And if he got free, it was great. He was awesome on the power play. But Chloe got cut from some teams that way back. I think he was kind of upset to get cut from, including like the high school team. Like the high school team didn't make it. We're well into he didn't even make major junior, I don't believe, till 18. He went away, didn't make it, played junior B, right? With the Halifax, I think they were the exports, whatever it was.
Importer, exporter.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Seinfeld again. But Chloe did that. And, those levels that he played at when he couldn't quite make the one, it really helped him because he ended up being a real all-around player. He could get goals. I think he had 20-odd 2 times, fight anybody. But he had that fight attitude already. And he had really good hands, but he just wasn't a great skater. And I think playing with the lower group helped him more than it would have playing with the upper group. It would have helped him keep up and I guess his skating technically, but he wouldn't have had the puck in his hands when it developed like that. But that's the best example I can think of. 6th-round pick. Lucky if you told us a year before he got drafted in the 6th round, we would have laughed at you. In total support of him, we would have been, Chloe, are you kidding? And then he went 6th round, and then he became one of the best Newfoundlanders that we've ever had in the NHL, and that was due to largely what you said.
That was Ryan's Rant, brought to you by Action Electrical. Paul is the last one in, so we got all 12 people in for our job. We'll do that just before 5 o'clock, after 5 questions. When we return, we're going to get the Canucks side things, the orders, viewpoint, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live in the Ewell Studios in West Edmonton Mall. That's EWEL.ca.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
What's cracking at Cattail? Maybe you've got the next tiger on your hands. Cattail Crossing offers young golfers Operation 36, a program to improve their growing skill set with other golfers their age. To register, email proshop@cattailcrossing.ca.
The sports world never clocks out. Neither do we. Sports 1440 has you covered with Fox Sports tonight after 9 and all weekend long. So when you're ready to head home, we're warming up again. Sports 1440, bringing you an all-star performance every day.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Avon 118.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
It's time to embrace the drive with Chevrolet. Lease the 2024 Equinox RS from $190 bi-weekly. That's like $95 weekly at 6.9% for 60 months with $3,400 down on an ultra-low kilometer lease. With Equinox's standard Chevrolet safety assist, standard power liftgate, available panoramic sunroof, and available adaptive cruise control, you'll have everything you need and more to make this the best season ever. Visit your local Chevrolet dealer for details.
Dreams do come true when you come to Schwab's RV World. It's definitely time to hit the open road, but make Schwab's your first stop, especially now. There's never been a better time to buy an RV. Come check out the new 2024s with innovative floor plans. Or maybe a 2022 or 23 will catch your eye on clearance below cost. Whatever you do, be sure to come in today to Schwab's RV World and let them make you a happy camper. Schwab's RV World, beside Safeway off Highway 2 in Leduc, and schwabsrv.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
This is such a good song, man. Oh, I love it. I used to have that song on a CD player for a long time. When my brother played for the Axemen in the Kitty, somebody made a mixtape. So they had this whole mixtape, and it had songs like that, and then it would have clips from Slapshot that were mixed in. And so I got a version of it. And man, I used to rock that thing in my car. The Slapshots were unbelievable. Like it would play, there's so many of those sequences of Slapshot. Obviously, we couldn't play most of them here on the show because there's profanity laced across the board. But they're epic. And then there's just some really good songs. And I don't care. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you played hockey at any level and you had like a song that was connected to your team 15, 20, 30 years, I don't care how many years ago, you'll still remember it. It doesn't matter. And that's another cool thing about sports. We're going to do our draw for the tickets for Game 6 coming up in about half an hour's time. But let's go in the room now, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated, and a huge sponsor of numerous youth sports teams and Devo McEwen's quest to make it to the Olympics in bobsleigh. It's nextgentransportation.com. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you as we welcome in gentleman who knows a thing or two about Sports Night. For many years, ran that show on Global. Now, of course, the host of the Kevin Karras Show here in Sports 1440. Kevin Karras joins us. Dick, how you doing?
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's going to be good.
No problem. Hey, now, you never worked with Dutchie directly, but obviously, he was from Saskatchewan, then he came to Edmonton, and him and Perry, like Sports Night on Global TV was really kind of the changing point of how highlights were done by broadcasters. And they made a whole show of it, and it really it spurred it on. Then they went to Sports Center and it became even bigger. But that show, man, in the 90s, that was for when you did it for half an hour. That was a great sports show that very few markets had.
Well, okay, so Dutchie got here in 1988, and Perry came here in 1990-ish. I took Perry's job in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. That was my first job. So Perry moved here. I took Perry's job. So there was always that link. And of course, the goal was to get back to Edmonton or to return to Edmonton to be on this show, because there was a show in Calgary called Sports at 11. There was this show here called Sports Night. Every sportscaster aspired to be on that show. So Dutchy, he would have been the guy that started it all. And then Perry came in, and then it transformed to when Dutchy left in 95. And then when I took over the show in 1998 for about a dozen years before they canceled the show, it was a great half an hour of television. And the thing is that's different back then is that those guys at the very beginning, like Dutchy and Perry in Edmonton, that show could stack up against any show that was being done out east. There was a producer here, and she worked with me, Ann Stark, and she worked with Darren, she worked with Perry, she worked with Ron Rimmer, worked with Aaron Millard, and then I was the guy that came in 98. She was fabulous. She worked so hard on this show, and she was one of the main reasons that it ended up to be what it is. But to your point, Greg, it was a starting point for television sports and sports casting and highlight shows. That's the difference. Yeah, it was a highlight show where you stayed up to watch. And a lot of the younger generation don't understand that because you don't have to stay up to watch because you get the immediacy of watching highlights now. Back then, you stayed up till 11 and you stayed up to watch what was going on, and that's the way it was. And it was a great time in sports broadcasting. There's no question about that.
Yeah. Now let's move to the game tonight. Oilers Canucks. No lineup changes for the Oilers. Really no surprise. Rick Tocchet, who is not happy after Game 4, makes 3 changes to his forward lineup. He moves Pettersson up to the right wing. They'll move Bluger with Dakota and Garland. Probably, arguably, outside of Miller, maybe they're two best. Well, Besser's being good too, but those two guys with Teddy Bluger, like, I wonder if that's the line he might match up tonight against Draisaitl.
Well, the one thing that worries me about Pettersson is that, and I want to see what TR's opinion is on this too. I think he's the type of guy that if he doesn't play with higher end talent, and sulk might be the wrong word, but he feels like he's not, they're not asking him to be who he is and who he can be. So if you look at who he's been playing with, and look at the beginning of the year and a lot of the year, the lotto line, right? When you're playing with JT Miller and you're playing with Brock Besser and putting up tons of points, everything's fine. But now he hasn't been playing with higher end talent, if you want to call it that. So my question would be to TR, would that be a guy that feels, I'm not involved enough in the coaching decisions to play with higher end talent, and I'm not being asked to perform at a higher level? Or what do you think, TR?
That's a good question. From the outside looking in, it would seem like that. It seems to me that Rick Tocchet knows how to stroke each player. So, but he calls them out here and there, and Pettersson has, during the regular season, come back. I don't know. I was trying to talk about that earlier. It's almost like the way he's playing, you'd almost think he had some sort of an injury, but they swear there is none.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, does he need to sack up? Yeah. Is it mental? For sure. And maybe that's it. Maybe you give a guy all that money, but maybe he just can't drive a line like he can add to one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shame on that, Greg. But when he goes on the power play, he doesn't look like he's involved either. What do you think?
No.
Well, they never get in the zone, guys. Like, watching their zone entries is painful. Like, I could see Canucks fans, like, Oiler fans should be watching that and realize, geez, kind of take for granted. Like, when you watch other teams, I've been watching Boston, like, you compare their zone entries to how easy Edmonton gets in the zone on the power play. Like, it's really night and day. And even though Vancouver's trying to take away McDavid on the zone entry, well, then the Oilers just say, okay, well, we'll give it to Draisaitl. No problem, right? Like, Vancouver, and I'll give Edmonton's penalty killers credit, guys, but to me, you have an extra guy in the ice and you can barely get in the zone. It's embarrassing.
How many times have you seen him over the course of the year where he would really zing a wrister on that power play, just not where Leon is, but just a bit higher, and really have a good shot on goal? Haven't seen that at all in this series.
TR?
First of all, Kevin, speaking of Yorkton, so I just did a gig there like a month ago, and a lot of people there. I didn't realize that's where you started. I don't mean to be ignorant to it. I have listened to your show more than once. I just didn't realize that. Were you there to do the Terriers?
Well, no. What happened was, and by the way, TR, you were with my good buddy Craig Adam.
Craig Adam, yeah. I was going to bring up his name. Yeah. He said that. I didn't know there was a connection.
Oh yeah, Pecchio
You were with
and I-
Pecchio? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, he's a beauty. Oh
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a beauty. I hung out with him the whole time.
I know, yeah, and his wife Deb. Yeah, I was going to bring that up too because I nicknamed him Pecchio, TR, because when I was working on highway construction, Pecchio on the crew was the dumbest guy on the crew, so that's why I nicknamed him that.
No way. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think I might go back Labor Day to watch a football game with him.
Well, yeah, he's a big time guy in Regina. But to your point, no, I didn't do Terriers hockey, but I was at the CKOS and I was it was funny. I was the late night news, weather and sports guy. As soon as I got there in 1990, I was there one day, and I said, "Well, what are we doing now?" And they said, "Well, you're going on the air to host a half-an-hour show." And I said, "Well, I never really did anything like that before." So they said, "That's too bad. Go ahead, you're on." So that's how it all started.
Incredible. Going back to the game, that's wild. Do you think, I noticed there was some pairings. Do you think the D pairings are going to stay the same? Or are they going to go back to the way they were?
Well, I think it'll be Kulak and Cece, and I think Kulak has been phenomenal. We talked about it all day yesterday on the show. Just the fact, and I mean, in the second period there, Kulak had about a 2.5 minute shift, couldn't get off the ice, and I thought he was just phenomenal all game long. So I think that'll be what it is, and then Nurse with Desharnais, and of course, Bouchard and Ekholm have been just so superb in the playoffs for the Oilers, and so that isn't changing for sure.
I'm curious, there's a lot of talk, and of course, Vancouver fans, they're overly sensitive right now. Because all I did is write an article that Bouchard, and all the numbers, not opinion, Bouchard has been infinitely more impactful in this series than Quinn Hughes. Doesn't make he's a better player overall, but he's been more impactful in both ends of the rink. And I look at Quinn Hughes, like he's only been on the ice in 77 minutes of 5-on-5 time at 1 goal. Vancouver has 7 goals 5-on-5 without him on the ice. Like, now I'm not saying he's playing poorly because he hasn't got scored on, but the Oilers have done a really good job of not letting Quinn Hughes beat them offensively so far through 4 games.
Yeah, and I think TR would agree that we've seen a different type of Evan Bouchard here in this series than what we've seen, over the course of the regular season. And I would think, and I would want to ask you this, TR, about, is it just mostly confidence that especially defensively, when she started breeding that confidence, and I think Ekholm's helped a lot, but what do you think, TR, about just his confidence level and what's that helping him to do and perform at this level?
It's wild you asked that, because I was just kind of tiptoeing around that when people ask me about the clutch gene. Is there one there? I think a player grows confidence, and if you see Bouchard now, like towards the end of that game, guys, the Canucks were happy to tie it. The Oilers were trying to score, and Bouchard was right there, and you knew if it came to him, he was ready. Over the last few years, you've seen him kind of, first when he came in, he was tentative. He was always decent, and decent is a bad word to use. He was way above average offensively. We knew that, but now you see a guy that wants that biscuit, right? You see a totally different player he's got winning in his eyes. And I just think that, I think that's his growth as a player. I mean, there's still going to be mistakes, but I just see a guy that's more of a leader now than he was a couple of years ago because of his willingness to be in those big time game breaking situations.
So Griggs, I got a question, because all the shift charts and all that. So when that timeout was called, not the timeout, there was when the goaltender was pulled, and it was 2:37, I believe. So that shift started with Ekholm and Bouchard, and then there was a whistle, I believe 1:40 left, 1:45, and that's when Desharnais and Nurse came out. Is that correct?
Yes,
that's correct. Yeah. So because there was a timeout, and a lot of people were saying, well, why would they start that sequence at 6-on-5 with Bouchard and Ekholm, and then with the timeout, not leave them out there? So.
Well, I just think because, you have the timeout, but, Paul Coffey, I think they look at other guys, and, Desharnais and Desharnais takes a lot of their penalty kill minutes, right? Like it's kind of like an expanded penalty kill at that point, right? And so Bouchard's not on your penalty kill. So it didn't surprise me that they put Nurse and Desharnais out at that point. Because they did nothing wrong on that on the winning goal.
Absolutely not. But he could have started. They could have started at the 2:45 mark with them there as well. That's the difference, is what I'm saying.
With Nurse and Desharnais, you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the shift chart to see before, like when was Nurse and Desharnais on prior to that. Because I'm looking. Yeah, well, see, Nurse and Day had just come off the ice. That's why.
Come off.
Yeah,
okay.
So they just
good call then. Yeah,
yeah, because you didn't. Cece and Kulak didn't really see the last few minutes before that. But then you look at at Knobloch, and Brett, he mentioned it, like Kane and Holloway hadn't been on the ice for probably the last 5 minutes of the game. And then once they tied it, he goes to those guys because like, well, they got fresh legs. We've used a lot of the other guys, go with fresh legs. And that's perfect coaching. The other thing that does is if you're Holloway and Kane, you're like, okay, I'm not on here. I'm not going to be the guy protecting the lead. And sure, I'd like to be at some point, but I'm not. But now the coach believes, hey, we can be the guys that get us the lead back. It's a huge confidence booster, right? Like the one thing I've liked about Knobloch, he's pretty good at giving guys roles. And like you look at how many times the Oilers score a goal. Who does he put on the ice the next shift? He put their fourth line on 2 different times after the Oilers scored to say, I believe you guys can maintain momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to tonight. This is going to be a real Titanic tilt, and I would expect nothing more than just a 1-goal game like we've seen so far in this series.
Yeah. D-Bird, enjoy the game, man.
All right. And TR, good talking to you. We'll get you on the morning show sometime. Got to have that.
Say the word. Love the show. Keep up the great work, buddy.
Okay, good talking to you guys. Take care, man.
There you go. That's Kevin Carey's host of the morning show. It does like a lot of the nicknames. Just ask him one time, Terry, where you got the nickname Dick Malinowski. That's his. That's why I call him Dick. People always get it. No, it's D-I-K, but it's Dick Malinowski.
Dick Malinowski. There's a few Malinowskis out that way. I know a couple.
Oh, yeah. No. The reason why he ended up getting the name was I'm almost positive that when they were kids in like the senior league, there was a Dick Malinowski who was like the Gretzky of the senior league. And so I'm almost certain that's where it came from. I could be wrong, but there's some other story you have to ask him about it. When you're on a show, you should ask him.
Of all the little subsections of sports in Canada, you guys got a little group there out west. There's not even little, it's a big group, but you know, it's nickname. It's like hockey pre-1980. Everybody had a
you got it, dude. They don't have a nickname.
You guys all roll like that, yeah.
Yeah, got to have a nickname. Good ones too. Can't be self-given though. That's the key. That doesn't.
Some guys try to pull that now.
Oh, they do. Yeah, it's the worst. Obvious. Yeah, like Brownie called himself Brown Sugar. We're like, that's never happening ever again on our show.
No.
Like, we got way better ones. Now he's just. Oh, well, yeah, George Costanza.
Costanza wanted T-Bone.
Oh, no, you can't be T-Bone. Oh, so good. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to 5 questions, and then we'll do the draw. And somebody's going to go to Game 6 Oilers. And the Canucks here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Scott here from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our biggest sale of the year. This month, every new and used vehicle we have has been marked down and priced to sell. We have Ram trucks that are 25% off, brand new trucks, and we have hundreds to choose from. We have 0% financing up to 72 months on Grand Cherokee. Even though we know our prices are great, every single offer will be considered. We will work to get you the best financing terms. We will pay top dollar for your trade. We will do what it takes to earn your business. It's our biggest sale of the year, and it's on now at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
They're the heart of Alberta's economy. The coffee shops and construction companies, the ag operations, oil field services, and retail stores. They're the small and medium-sized businesses that keep money moving and folks working in our rural communities. At Vision Credit Union, we're proud to serve businesses like these with personalized support, common sense lending policies, and products that work with life here. Let Vision Credit Union help your company get down to business. Learn how at visioncu.ca.
.452, we're inching closer. Game 5. Pivotal matchup, by the way. The winner of Game 5 when a series is tied 2-2 goes on to win the series 79.2% of the time. There's been 231 wins to 61 wins for the team who wins Game 5. So I would say it's a rather large game tonight. Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you as we get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick as their massive tent sale continues on for the next few days. You can get up to a 60% off clearance items in the tent and in store. Also includes 25% off Canadian made sofas, bedroom and dining furniture, and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, we did it earlier on. Let's do it again. Let's get a score and a bold prediction for the Oilers-Canucks game as they meet tonight in Vancouver.
I was wrong last time about Pickard, and I'm glad I was. I like being wrong in that situation. I'm really happy for the kid. Vancouver didn't just seem to generate much. I think it's going to happen again. I think he'll be confident. And I think, like I said, she loves you. I think his luck's going to just keep running out, and the Oilers are going to overcome them. I'm talking a lot. I'm going to say 4-1 Oilers.
Did you
4-2? Give me 4-2.
She loves you. Oh, it's a classic. Oh, man. Yeah, Oiler fans should have a field day with that one. They should use that online instead of she loves you. That's a good one. Oilers, and I think this is going to be another tight game. They've all been 1-goal games, but I think there's actually an empty net goal tonight for the first time in the series, and the Oilers win 4-2.
Question 2. We've seen the road teams in this series each win a game. So I want to ask you, in this series, more specifically than just in general, but how much of an advantage do you think that home ice really is?
Well, statistically, it'll tell you it gives you like a 67% chance instead of 50. So, yeah, I think it helps at times. It doesn't. You're not going to win every game, obviously, but I think it becomes more helpful later on, especially for an experienced team, right? Vancouver doesn't have the experience that Edmonton has. So I don't know if their game 7, if it gets there, is as necessarily an advantage as it would be for a team like Edmonton, who's been in a few game 7s and just, has played way more playoff games than Vancouver has. So I think it's situational, but I don't know any player on the planet who wouldn't want game 7 on home floor, home court, home field.
I agree. I don't know anybody on the planet. And when sometimes for me, the road, when I liked being on the road, was like team bonding stuff early, maybe November, maybe the dog days of like January. You like going on the road. Okay, let's get away from the families for a bit, the kids, the distractions of home, everything that comes at home. We go on the road, but it's not like that in the playoffs. It's about winning and losing. And how can we do that? How quick can we do that with least injuries? And how effective can we be and sufficient at what we do? So I agree with you. 100 out of 100, I'd rather play at home. And I think it does provide a big advantage. In this situation, I think Vancouver are going to do better at home than they are on the road, but I still favor the Oilers.
Question number 3, will the Hurricanes, somewhat complete the comeback and force a Game 7 tonight?
Oh, yeah. Game 7 all day, baby. Hurricanes, the Caniacs, they will find a way to win tonight. And then, man, what a series. You'll get Game 7 in New York. Each team is on a 3-game winning streak at one point in the series. It'll be great.
Well, I'm hoping for it. You know, I bought a Pro Line earlier or whatever, so I'm gonna I'm gonna say Carolina wins by 3.
Ooh,
that's what I got.
Big
I
win.
know it's a long shot, but that's what I got.
Question number 4 for you guys. Obviously, we've touched on it. Sad news is longtime broadcaster Darren Dutchyshen passing away after a courageous battle with cancer. So in honor of Darren, and you can use him if you want, do you have a favorite anchor of the desk when it comes to sports shows?
For me, sports shows anchor.
Oh, I know who yours
Ken Reed's my good buddy.
Man.
And I watch Ken a lot. I'm not just saying it because what happened to Dutch. I was a big fan. Guys, I went to Quesnel in 91, 92, and I remember seeing Dutch on those. I remember it must have been out of Edmonton. Was it? I forget what network, but he used to come on and he used to be with a Ron McLean-ish person, and he reminded me of Don Cherry back then. I loved that. He was my first love when it came to that. I moved out west, and he walked me through a lot of highlights at night. So he would be one of my favorites. I'm not just saying it because of what just happened, but currently, yeah, I mean, Jay on Wright's great, brings some personality, and Kenny Reed, my buddy.
Yeah, I go with Kenny Reed. Honestly, Jay makes me laugh a lot. So, he's got some zany stuff together. So, yeah, I'll go with Jay on Wright.
And final question for you guys. Back on this day, I wrote 896, I believe it was 86, Top Gun was released. So when you think of military-related movies, what do you think would be the top of your list?
Ooh, TR?
This was tough, man, because
it's very tough.
Well, because a lot of these movies are really moving, right? They're really moving. So the ones that moved me the most, and I know I got to pick one, it would have been Saving Private Ryan, not because of the name. I just thought it was a really poignant movie that spoke to the heart and about a lot of the realities of war that don't just come in a bomb. Like, it wasn't obvious to me what was going to happen there. Schindler's List. I just can't. I sat there for an hour after the movie ended and just wept. I couldn't believe it. I think almost it's a good movie to see. It's one thing to see a documentary, but the creativity and the way that's shot and the acting, and I just think it's a great movie for any film goers or anybody in the industry. And it's also just a great story for anybody that wants to know a little bit about history. And I thought it was superbly done. But I'm going to go with, because there's an element of humor to it, and I love The Great Escape. I think it's like 1965 or something, but it's James Garner, James Coburn, Steve McQueen, kind of breaking out Steve McQueen. And it's a interesting concept. And with like a first that I really got into, I mean, it's the 60s, it was before I was born, but like when I watched it, those mega movies with all kinds of stars and they all have a role, and I found it funny, I found it entertaining, and there was a lot of realities of war within. So I left with a smile on my face. I'm putting it number 1.
So like this movie to me, because it's based on during the war, it wasn't necessarily, it had all the fighting in it, but Schindler's List to me was one of the most emotional movies I've ever watched. And, it was gut-wrenching. And so I'm going to go with Schindler's List. I don't know, Cons, if that falls into war. It's about, obviously, the war, right? And and everything that happened in it, and it was, man, it was so, like, you talk to people who survived it. And I'd read lots of commentaries about it that people thought it was, you know what, it was very close to real. Saving Private Ryan, those opening war scenes, same thing. So those would be my two, but I'm going to go Schindler's List. Cons?
Hey, how I'll ask you this before, actually, Connor. Yes, sorry, both of you guys, before you give your answer, Connor, because you said that and I said that. How old do you think Penny Lane? She's 14. I wanted to see it, but do you think I need to wait a few years
for Schindler's List?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty heavy. Yeah. You know, an age, everybody knows the maturity of their kids a little different, but yeah, I'd probably be like 16, maybe. That would be my guess on it, because
that's honestly what I thought. I mean, it's nothing.
There's some scenes in it that are really hard to, as an adult, like it's hard to not like gory, just hard to see.
I can think of 3 right now that have stayed with me. Like, you branded them into my skin at the time it happened. I'll never forget them. I watched them, and when I think about it now, I start to, like, my eyes water. That's how powerful that movie was.
Oh God, it was 100%. Cons, what about you?
Still haven't seen that one. I 37. Don't know if I'm mature enough to watch that one. I've know what it's about, so I think that'd be a tough one. But for me, big fan of Gladiator. If we're going back to like old military with Russell Crowe, one of my favorite movies, and I also loved Enemy at the Gates with the Russian sniper Vitaly Zaitsev. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. So those two would probably top my list.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket, Platoon are some movies I saw when I was younger. Good war movies as well. So,
yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, so many good ones.
And I guess you could say, you know what, Tropic Thunder would be up there too. It doesn't pop into your mind, but
I
come on.
love that movie.
When you said humor, I thought you were going to go with Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah, that's great. See, but I wouldn't put either what we're talking about ahead of what I. But again, great, absolutely great.
Like it's funny, like it's weird because it's a war movie, but it's like obviously the humor of it. Inglourious Bastards is quite good.
So good. If you haven't seen that, get out and see it. Yeah,
for sure. TR, have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the play. Hey, when we talk to you next, we are going to know who are the Oilers into the third round and who are they playing. So it should be a lot of fun.
Should be. Looking forward to it. Great to talk to you guys again. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton. And I'll see you guys in a few days.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan Hitch on season 3 of Shoresy that comes out in less than 10 days time now. Exciting. Now, hey, we said we would do it, Cons, so let's do it. I've got all the, actually, you know what? We'll go to break. Everybody's waiting. I just want to show them. I got all our real official names in here, and we'll put them in the draw bin, and then we'll draw one when we come out, and someone's going to go to the game. On Saturday, Game 6, the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. It's going to be a clinching game for one of the teams. Oilers fans obviously hoping it's your team. Odds are pretty good. Let's get to the comments. Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers, where you can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra, $1,500 Denali Ultimate, plus eligible Costco members get an additional $1,200 off select trucks right now at your Alberta GMC dealers.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Sad news today as longtime TSN personality and Sports Center host Darren Dutchyshen passing away after a long battle with cancer. Dutchyshen, of course, hosted Sports Night in town here on ITV before heading to TSN, where he hosted Sports Desk as well as the CFL and the Olympics. He was 57 years old. On the ice tonight in the NHL, we got the Oilers and Canucks meeting in Game 5 of their best-of-7 series. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. That one tied at 2 games apiece. Earlier on, Hurricanes and Rangers. They'll get going in about 10 minutes out in Raleigh. Rangers lead that series 3-2. In the association, the Nuggets take on the Timberwolves. Tip-off 6:30. Denver up 3-2 in that one. Major League Baseball, one game underway right now. Mets have a 2-0 lead over the Phillies. That's in the top of the second. Later tonight, you have the Red Sox and Rays. Pirates in Chicago taking on the Cubs. Astros host the Athletics and the Reds in Los Angeles. Earlier on, the Yankees knocking off the Twins 5-0. PGA Championship after one round. Right now, Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard. Tony Finau and Sahith Theegala sitting second at 6 under par. As for the Canadians, you've got Adam Hadwin -3, Adam Svensson 1 under, Taylor Pentcalf 1 over par, and Mackenzie Hughes right now sitting 4 over through 16. And one game in the WNBA tonight, Sabrina Ionescu and the Liberty in Indiana taking on Caitlin Clark in the Fever. That one gets going in 5 minutes. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by longtime Oilers beat reporter Mark Spector to get you set for Game 5 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. We'll also head out to Vancouver and be joined by the Athletics' Harman Dial. I'm Connor Halley. This is a bit of sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help
407, welcome.
deliver solutions and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of your trucks.
Like they made a whole show of it, and it really like it spurred it on. Then they went to Sports Center.
435-1492 or email
I love it.
info@cweves.com.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
And like they made a whole show of it. The Kings quest
to make catch all reaction in play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays.
A whole show
Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more. Or you just hard,
A solid
just
financial
hard.
plan is made up of more than just investments.
Day. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, streaming live at sports1440.ca. Of course, on Twitter, as well as the Sports 1440 Instagram. People are watching everywhere. I love it. It's great. Chiming in, comments everywhere. We really appreciate the Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And if you're thinking about it, you want to try it, well, guess what? Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 wager. Sign up for your first time, or if you're a regular, just need a $5 minimum deposit with it. Good luck. Maybe you do the parlay. Although it's a tough one. Like, who do you think is going to win that early game? Rangers or the Hurricanes? Ooh. You going with the home road? Canes Oilers? 06 again? You never know. You never know. Now, we're going to bring Declan Kruger over here, Con Man. This will be his first opportunity to make the draw, as we have everybody who's in the draw from Paul, Blair, Michael, Trevor, Peter, John Carlo, Arthur, Craig, Ryan, Justin, Sean, and Andrew are all in. And Deck, you'll see here our lovely names. He's going to spin them around and pick one. And it is, Craig. Craig D. All right. Craig, I put that up on the screen. I think I did. Just so everybody at home can see that we did it. There you go. All right. Congratulations, Craig. We'll get a hold of you. You just won yourself a pair of tickets to Game 6, Oilers Canucks Saturday night. Thanks, everyone who donated. All the people are on the waiting list. Lots of people who wanted it. I love it. It's a pretty good deal, man. Tickets are pretty expensive. And if you don't win, you make a donation to charity. So it's a win-win either way. So thanks very much. Now, let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. And hey, they're looking for you to work for them. If you're looking for a great company with great benefits, coming up on a big 50-year celebration, go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction as Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, you came into Edmonton, working, I think it was 1989. You started writing for the Journal, correct?
87, but you're close.
87. All right. So you've been working for a few years when Sports Night and Darren Dutchyshen came to town. I want to say it was 89, I think it was. We had Perry on earlier. Dutch had been there for 6 months, and then Perry Salkowski came along. And man, that became like the sports show must watch every night at 11 o'clock. And man, they made it fun.
Yeah, they made it fun. And you know, it was ancient history because you didn't have a device in your hand to see the highlights or catch a score in a game. You had to, you know, if you wanted to know what the Bruins did that night, you basically had to wait till 11 o'clock for Dutchy to have the highlights on, you know, or maybe you heard on John Short's show that there was a brawl between the Philly and the Islanders. So you waited until 11 o'clock when Dutchy came on to describe and show you some video of that brawl. So yeah, it was, I mean, for young sports, for all sports fans in the city, man, it was appointment viewing, and you were ready to see your highlights and have a laugh and see if he'd invent a new line like starting a lawnmower or one of those things. Like, you just, you know, as part of every guy's life, you'd show up the next day at work or school or whatever, and everyone would be talking about what happened on that show.
Oh God, yeah, no, he had some classic line. I do want to story. I got a story from Kathy Kovacs, and actually I knew her brother Greg because he played with my brother Colin. Greg was really tough in the WHL and Tri-Cities and then minor pro. So she sent me this text here to the show. Hey guys, this reminds me of Dutchy when I used to be a writer at Sports Night. One of his buddies came in from Porcupine Plain. He used to come and visit us at ITV. He introduced his friend as Bino. Later, I asked Dutchy if his friend was Italian or something. Dutchy laughed and said, no, that's just a nickname we gave him when we were playing ball in Tisdale and staying in a flea bag motel with paper-thin walls. Bino must have done something wrong, and we could hear his girlfriend saying, there will be no dinner tonight. There will be no sex. There will be no anything. Hence the nickname, Bino. Oh, my God. That is unbelievable. Oh,
I love it.
That's a great nickname, right? When you think about that story, your buddies are dying. There will be no dinner. There will be no sex. There will be no anything. Oh, that's a classic.
That is awesome.
Thanks for that. So, and like I know, like Dutchy, if you met him, man, he was larger than life all the time. Like he was full. Like before there was Red Bull, he was like a guy running on Red Bull all the time. He was just high energy.
Yeah, oh, for sure. You know, the guy you wanted to be on a golf course with, or, you know, laughing in the press box, or like it wasn't a show, right? I don't know how you're right. It's like he discovered Red Bull before anyone else did. I don't know how you have that much energy, you know, how you have that loud voice, how you have that, like, he not only did he have a great sense of humor, but he had this uncanny way of being really funny about stuff lots of people thought, but no one had the guts to say. And we're not talking about always being appropriate either, but he said it. He didn't give a damn what you thought. And before you had a chance to be you know, offended by something he said, you're laughing so damn hard. How could you be offended at all? So that's the guy he was, man. If you didn't like him, there was probably something wrong with you, because he wasn't changing any.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well said. So definitely our condolences to all his coworkers and friends and family. Darren passed away yesterday at the age of 57. Now, Spec, you're into Vancouver. Rick Tocchet was not pulling any punches after the Game 4 loss. Called a few, hey, we got some passengers. We got some guys who don't even know they're in the playoffs. And so, no surprise, he juggles his lineup tonight. And he's got 3 new lines, got 3 guys that are coming in. Now, Di Giuseppe had played before, but he left for personal reasons. He's back in. Nils Höglander's back in. Podkolzin comes in for his first game, Spec, and Carlson's out. Carlson's out, Lafferty's out, and Mikheyev, who has 1 goal in 60 games, gets a seat in the press box. And also, Pettersson's moved up. He'll play on the right wing, so it'll be the Elias squared line with Lindholm and Pettersson. What do you make of these changes? And do you think that he's going to go with that Garland Dakota Joshua line with Teddy Bluger and try to put them up against the Draisaitl line 5-on-5, because we know Miller's going to play against McDavid?
Yeah, that's something I'm thinking of when I look at those lines. I love, I think Garland's had a great series. Yes. My fear from the Vancouver side is, when I looked at this series, I looked at a lot of their best guys are small, and Garland's one of them, but man, he can handle it. He's good enough and brave enough to be that small. Unfortunately, we're waiting to see if Pettersson is in a playoff setting. And a lot of these guys they're changing out are lighter players. I'm surprised at Sam Lafferty's game. I thought he played a heavier game. He hasn't been heavy at all. Mikheyev's been invisible. Carlson's just a young Swedish kid that's not ready for this level of hockey. So, I would say this year, Jay, the Oilers have what we thought was a pretty good third line and a pretty decent depth. They're not taking advantage of a very average bottom 6 in Vancouver. They haven't taken advantage at all. Their bottom 6 tonight has 1 point in this series, a Derek Ryan assist. So the Oilers need to look across the ice at a bunch of, younger guys with very little playoff experience who don't play a heavy game and say, we're better than these guys. Like Fogle and McLeod and Corey Perry, get an advantage. Be better than the guys you're up against, because the guys you're up against aren't very good. And right now, they're not taking that advantage.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally valid. They need to be better. And now I'll say this about McLeod: defensively, he's been excellent. Right, he's not giving up anything, so that part's good. But you're also, he has played a little bit against the top, so I'm not even sure they're worried if they play him against Pettersson's line, because he was, and they weren't doing anything. And McLeod has been on the ice literally 30 seconds less against Hughes than McDavid has. And, Hughes has done nothing offensively 5-on-5. He's only been on the ice for 1 goal and has no points. And so I will give McLeod credit there, but you're right. Hey, there's 2 ends of the rink. You don't want to just be, a guy who's good in one end. You still want to chip in somehow in the other one. And, that line and Spec, those guys you all mentioned, the 7 bottom guys, including Vander Kane, actually, and Dylan Holloway, you look at the Oilers have 7 forwards that have combined 17 shots 5-on-5. Combined in 4 games. Right? Like the Oilers, I don't know if you read my article today, Spec, outline. I compared Edmonton to all the other 7 teams in the second round. And they got 53% of their 5-on-5 shots from their forwards. That's way lower than anybody else by 10%. And it's mostly 18% lower than all the other teams other than Boston, I think it is at 62. Colorado, excuse me, at 62%. So you got to get more shots from all their forwards, including their top guys, right? Like they've only got 3 goals from forwards 5-on-5 in the series.
Yeah, they're not a volume shooting team. They never have been, and that doesn't bother me. But what they have been able to do this year is really possess the puck. Like they've been a good cycle team, the Oilers. And Vancouver, maybe it's because they got that big defense that can stop the cycle. I don't know, but they're not cycling the puck. There's a lot of one and dones here. And Sheaves has had one really good game. And the rest of the time, he hasn't been forced to be great, in my opinion. So you got a young goalie who doesn't have experience, and this is supposed to be one of the top offensive teams in the sport, and they are. But I don't think they've brought the pressure to bear on Sheaves. The lines 1 through 4 that they need to. And hey, it's best of 3. Somebody's going to get from this reservoir of players that haven't put a foot into this series yet. One team's going to get it, and that's probably the team that's going to win this series.
Yeah, I wrote about it today. Like, who's going to be the hero? You need kind of someone unexpected. I would argue that, Sheaves was unexpected. His game 3 performance, right? Calvin Pickard comes in, wins his first. He wasn't the star of the game, but he was very important. And, Evan Bouchard, overtime winner. You need, there's been some unexpected guys, right? Leon Draisaitl's been great in the series, of course. I've liked Brock Besser in the series for Vancouver, but you do look and wonder. History usually tells us, is there going to be a Kelly Buchberger, a Kevin McClellan, a Todd Marchant type of guy who comes up, Fernando Pisani, his whole playoffs in 2006, right? Like, you need somebody that you don't expect to have a key play at a key time. And specifically,
who do you like? Who do you like? Like, who do you think's got the makings of a hero here?
Well, honestly, I think it's now this one's kind of easy, but he hasn't really done much. He doesn't have a point yet in the playoffs, but I'm going a little bit on history, and I think it's Corey Perry's time to show up here with a key goal.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. His goals come a certain way and not off the rush, right? His goals come off of cycling, off of possession in the offensive zone. We've had this conversation, all of us here. He told me this year, I tell my wingers or my line mates, I'm not going up and down the ice all night. That's not how I play. We get it in there and we keep it there. Well, the fact he has no points tells you they haven't been very good at keeping it there. So he's a guy. I want to say, I want to say another guy that I get a good feeling about is Dylan Holloway. He's earned his coach's trust here. He's found a way to get up on Draisaitl's wing. And you don't get there unless the coach trusts you defensively. He's improved his game that way. And now that he's there, I think, I have a feeling the time will come here where you're going to see something good happen for him, because I think he's earned it. I think he's gone through the, worked his way up. He's earned the coach's trust. He's in a good spot. I'm looking at him. I think it's time maybe we see something from 55.
Yeah, well, he's done a lot of other things, right? Like, he had the 2 goals in LA. He's been physical in this series. He was on the ice for both of Nugent Hopkins' goal and the game winner from Dry. So he's on the ice for both 5-on-5 goals. And so, you're involved, and, maybe he's ready to step up. I think Evander Kane's a guy that they would like a little bit more offense from, for sure. So, obviously there's pretty much almost any player when we talk 5-on-5. There's no lineup changes for the Oilers. I'm not surprised by that, Spec, at all. But you look at, Soucy comes back in, so Soucy and Meyer are gonna get McDavid. The Oilers had a lot, like they had a 4-1 lead in game 1 in Vancouver, right? And then they came back and they did win game 2. But I think Edmonton has made this series harder than it should be thus far. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you could say that. Like, I guess I'd say to you that the other team's trying to. This Vancouver team's got something, man. They got some playoff magic. Just because they're behind, they don't care. They truly believe that there's a comeback in their team every night. And at some point, if that keeps going, it'll go their way. And if the Oilers don't snuff that out, like they let 2 big leads go in this series, lost 1 game, won 1 game. So they'll, I want to give Vancouver credit here a little bit, Jay. I think there's a lot of teams. They got 2 lucky goals last game. They got 2 carom goals against Pickard last game. And the one on Nurse, Pickard said today, I think it was the Garland goal. He says, I got that puck. I'm about to make that save, and it hits our guy and goes in. And he's not blaming Nurse. He's just saying he had the puck. So, I mean, my thoughts are this. I don't think Vancouver can continue to win games on 20 shots. right? I don't think they can do it. They got to get more. There's not enough offense there to continue to win games. But let's see. If they can get more offense, will they open up defensively? Something's got to change here because you can't keep getting 20 shots a night if you're Vancouver and think you're going to win. That's my thinking.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Spec, enjoy the game. Should be fun. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Woo-hoo. All right, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
There you go. That's Mark Spector and the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, we'll get the Vancouver side of things, all the lineup changes. What are they expecting in Vancouver? That is coming up next. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork
so
for
many
your
women
community.
playing in professional.
We continue on game day. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, is always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where, hey, guess what? Grand a day for life. You can get your tickets today. That will be 20 years, $7.2 million. Get $1,000 a day, 20 years. Not bad at all. Check it out, PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers in Vancouver as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And hey, summer drink days are back, baby. You can get a small McCafe iced coffee or a Coca-Cola for only $1 plus tax right now at McDonald's as the Oilers taking on the Canucks. Aaron Dayhall from The Athletic, as well as the Canucks Conversation on CanucksArmy.com. Joins us, and Harmon, it's a big game, Game 5. A lot of excitement. Rick Tocchet obviously wasn't happy after Game 4, and he lived up to his frustration. 4 lineup changes, one obvious due to a suspension, but 3 new forwards coming in who weren't in there in Game 4, and also Pettersson gets the bump up to play with Lindholm. What do you make of all the line juggling and the shuffling?
I think it's something the Canucks had to do. Elias Pettersson has been way too quiet in the playoffs. He doesn't have a 5-5 point yet in the series against the Oilers. And for the Canucks to beat Edmonton in the series, it's not going to happen at the top of the lineup. We know that the way that McDavid and Draisaitl can control games, spend so much time in the offensive zone, they're going to win that top 6 matchup more nights than often, where the Canucks have to try and take advantage of the Oilers and sort of level the playing field is with the other lines and trying to win the non-McDavid, non-Draisaitl 5-on-5 minutes. And that's where Pettersson, despite being primarily matched against the Ryan McLeod line, hasn't been able to manufacture any offense or even really look dangerous. So, of course, to help him get more help, because he's been strapped for most of the series with Ilya Mikheyev, who has 1 goal in his last 60 games, and Nils Höglander and Sam Lafferty have sort of rotated in that spot as well. You bump him up with Lindholm, who has 5 goals in this series, has been one of Vancouver's better forwards. Pettersson playing the wing, and of course Höglander drawing back into the lineup. He's a player that, at least in the regular season, was very productive at 5-on-5. You're giving him more help now, and I'm then curious to see as well the other line that we saw reunited is Garland, Joshua, Bluger, which on paper may not seem very exciting, but during the regular season, their underlying numbers were dominant together. So I'm going to be curious to see if it can give Pettersson a bit of a spark offensively. And from a matchups perspective too, it'll be fascinating to see against Draisaitl, which line will they use? Will they use that Lindholm Pettersson line, or will they go to that Bluger, Garland, Joshua line that they have a lot of trust in as well?
Well, that's exactly my first thing that came to mind. I think Dakota Joshua and Garland have, been probably the third best forward after Miller and Besser, and they've been very energetic. And I look at the Draisaitl line, like Leon Draisaitl has been the best order in the series. And I don't think it's close. Well, Bouchard maybe, but Draisaitl has definitely been the best. And so, if they can try to slow him down, but then that means Lindholm and Pettersson will go up against McLeod. And while McLeod hasn't done anything offensively, he's actually been pretty good defensively. And so I'm curious, as you are, like, which matchup do you think Rick Tocchet wants? Does he want Lindholm and Pettersson and challenge them to go against Draisaitl? Or does he say, no, I think I can put them out there and I think they got a better chance to beat the McLeod line?
I wonder if he's going to be flexible with it and sort of experiment as the night goes on, because on the one hand, especially since you have Höglander on the left wing of that line, who isn't the most responsible defensively, even though he has taken strides, you wonder if, that's a bit of a weakness on that line from a defensive standpoint if they go up against Draisaitl. But on the other hand, in that line's favor, Elias Lindholm has been one of their best defensive centers, and especially as a right shot guy, wins a lot of faceoffs. They have so much trust in him defensively that they may want to use him against Draisaitl as well. So I think you kind of play it by ear. Maybe you use one of those lines at the start of the game, give them a couple of shifts. But I think from a coaching perspective, you're going to need to be quick on your feet, because it doesn't matter what line you start with. If Draisaitl's kicking that line's teeth in, you're going to have to adjust and go to that other line. And to me, it's pretty even because, again, like I said earlier when Bluger, Garland, Joshua played together in the regular season, they had that ability to create havoc on the forecheck. They had this weird chemistry where they support each other with the puck so exceptionally well, and they barely gave up anything defensively in the regular season. So I could see either line honestly working, and I don't have a full idea on what Tocchet might be thinking on that front yet.
Our man Dale joins us from The Athletic, as well as the Canucks Conversation and CanucksArmy.ca. The defense pairings, they get Susie back in with Myers. Now, Vancouver, they haven't generated a lot 5-on-5, but they're also not giving up much. And when Edmonton is in the offensive zone, they basically said, hey, we're just going to pack the house. We'll give the outside to the Oilers. And so far, it's worked. Edmonton only has 3 goals, 5-on-5 from their forwards, despite, a significant shot advantage, 5-on-5. Do you think that recipe is long-term successful, or do you think the Canucks have to try to generate more offense 5-on-5?
I do think it's interesting because I do think they're comfortable sort of packing the slot defensively, as you mentioned, and basically saying, hey, you can have the outside. They've shown that they can win games that way, but realistically, if they're going to take 2 of 3 here, they need to possess the puck more. They need to get more offensive looks. I think in Game 4, the late frantic comeback at the end sort of it sort of made that game seem closer than it really was, I think, because up until Garland scored 2-1 to make it 2-1 in the third period, the Canucks didn't generate anything offensively. It was so strange looking at the heat maps after the second period, and you're looking at the Oilers and they've gotten a lot of quality looks, and you look from Vancouver's perspective, they didn't have a single shot in the inner slot. So that's something that has to improve. I think their bottom 4 defensemen need to do a substantially better job of moving the puck, handling Edmonton's forecheck, because Myers, I think, struggled in that respect. I think without Susie, Myers was also partnered with Ian Cole, who, of course, has had a brutal series so far. So with Susie coming back in, I think you're hoping that the second and third pairs can move the puck better, because it was a 9-day difference. When the Quinn Hughes pair was on the ice, the scoring chances were at 5-on-5 were heavily in Vancouver's favor, but I think the chances were like 18-5 or something along those lines in Edmonton's favor at 5-on-5 in non-Hughes minutes. So I think if you can get the back end to move the puck a little bit cleaner, get possession in the forwards' hands a little bit sooner, that's the recipe to kind of getting more offensive looks from the inside and testing Pickard a little bit more.
What are you hearing on Demko?
Demko's really fascinating. He's definitely been on the ice a lot more recently. We've seen him around the group. Tocchet has seemed very positive about his progress. When he initially got hurt, a lot of the reporting seemed to be that they were targeting the late stages of this series as a potential timeline for him to return. I still think that the organization is optimistic about that, but I'll say this: we need to see Demko practicing with the main group by tomorrow for me to really feel like this is going to happen. That's yet to happen. He wasn't on the ice with the main group at morning skate today, for example. And if you're talking about ramping up for a playoff game against not just a playoff team, not just an elite offensive team, but against McDavid and Draisaitl, against a power play of that caliber, you got to make sure that you've gotten sufficient practice reps against NHL shooters in. And so from that perspective, I'm looking at tomorrow. If the Canucks practice, that'll be a big tell in terms of whether Demko is part of that group or not.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I agree. He's got to go through like the full gamut of practice to see, and not just for 5 minutes. Like, are you going to be able to hold up, a knee injury, hips, groin, anything like that for a goalie? It's crucial if you want to have any sort of success in the playoffs. So I totally agree with you. Harman, enjoy the game tonight, man. It should be great.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's Harman Dayal joining us from The Athletic in Vancouver. We'll come back if you missed it. Lots of changes to the lineup of the Canucks. Oilers, status quo. Everything that you saw in Game 4, you will see again tonight in Game 5. We'll run it back with you next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live in the EWEL studio, EWEL. When you need electrical work done, they'll help you out. You need electrical appliances, they'll help you out. If you need a project and you want to make it look better, they can help you do that as well. EWEL.ca. With up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Island Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
For over 65 years, Dedham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And that tradition continues with the all-new 2024 F-150. Lease one today with $1,000 down and pay just $299 bi-weekly, taxes included. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. The F-150 $299 driveway lease, only at Dedham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at dedhamford.ca.
The Egyptians swallowed a mixture of iron oxide and animal fat. The ancient Greeks made a paste out of pigeon droppings and horseradish. The Romans rubbed ashes and compost on their heads. Mankind has struggled with baldness since the beginning of time, but you don't have to struggle for another day. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and I've helped thousands of men and women get their hair back. Want to discuss all the modern options available? Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Jump into spring with a leap of faith and a special offer from Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling. Book now and enjoy a 10% discount on our concrete lifting, void filling, or foundation services. It's our way of saying thanks for choosing the experts in elevation. Don't wait, spring special is on for a limited time. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life.
it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Packing no.
.45 as we inch closer to Game 5. The early game tonight, if you like drama, if you like Game 7, it's a good start. The Carolina Hurricanes up 1-0 on home ice. Jordan Martinuke's having himself a heck of a playoffs. They score late with $1:22 to go in the first period. And they go into intermission leading 1-0. They outshot the Rangers 10-3. So no power plays in that period. And guess what? 5-on-5, they're dominated. Actually, no, sorry. They scored 1:22 into the period. I'm reading this upside down. Into the period. Wow. So they got 10 shots already. And we've only played 3 minutes. No. I was right. It's intermission. I'm reading this clock. It's counting down, but it's the intermission. The NHL website's a lot better, Cons. Now it's like live. It counts down the time on the intermission. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. 10 minutes, 10 shots in 3 minutes. That would have been a little excessive. Possible, but a tad excessive. So I don't know. I thought that one was going 7 after. Like I didn't think it was going 7 at all earlier in the week, but now I was like, oh, it's going 7. And you know what? Doesn't mean that the Carolina is going to win Game 7. I think like there'll be some pressure on the Rangers, sure, but there's also still like if you're the Hurricanes and you get back to Game 7 but you lose, you still lost. So I think it's equal pressure. It's Madison Square Garden. It's going to be a hell of a game if they get there. But good first period for the Hurricanes. Let's get to the lineup report now. Brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, officially open in Sherwood Park for all your service troubles. So if you need an inspection, a test run, some trailer TLC, they got it all and more on boats, motorcycles, ATVs. Make sure that you are ready for the season at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The Edmonton Oilers, hey, when you win, you're making no changes. So same line combinations. You will have McDavid, centering Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl between Kane and Holloway, McLeod with Perry and Fogle, and then, of course, Derek Ryan with Janmark and Brown. You'll have Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse and Desharnais, Ceci and Kulak, and Calvin Pickard, who's 1-0 in his playoff career, will look to remain undefeated tonight. The Vancouver Canucks, meanwhile, they got a lot of changes. Their coach wasn't happy with their Game 4 performance, so he switched out a lot of things. He has, first of all, Carson Soucy comes back in. So we know that Sheaves will be in net. You'll have Hughes and Roenick, Soucy with Myers, and Cole and Zadorov are on the back end. Up front, though, their top line, the only one that's still intact. Miller, Besser, and Puis-Suter, they stayed together. Elias Lindholm will now have Nils Höglander, who's back in the lineup, and Elias Pettersson, who moves on to the right wing. Third line will be Dakota Joshua, Teddy Bluger, and Connor Garland. So Bluger is getting the bump up. And their fourth line tonight, Phil DiGiuseppe is in. He missed the last few games for personal reasons. Nils Hyman will be the center, and Vasily Podkolzin will make his playoff debut this season for the Vancouver Canucks, number 92. So we'll see. Is it going to? We know that Miller's line for the majority plays against McDavid, but are they going to go Bluger or Lindholm, or did they split him against Draisaitl? We know that Rick Tocchet on home ice, he likes to get the matchups. We've seen from Knobloch, he doesn't get that concerned about the matchups. We'll see where it goes. Hey, guys, Bob Cole and Dutchy, tough few weeks for sure from Ray. Yeah, hey, you know what? For sports broadcasters, obviously touch close to our home with Robin Brownlee and John Short earlier, and now Dutchy, Bob Cole. I think sportscasters for sports fans, it's somebody for at different times of your life had a unique connection to you for sure. So it is definitely always tough. Hey, Gregor, I thought Holland signed with the Oilers for another 4 years. Why are there rumors he may be going to Columbus? Sizzler. Also, I can tell you that rumor has been out there for a while. My understanding is not a lot of truth to it. I would be stunned. First of all, Ken Holland didn't resign. He had said at the start of the year that he'd make no decision on his future. But do I see Ken Holland at this stage of his career leaving Edmonton to go to Columbus? I'd be surprised. I guess never say never. But I would be a little surprised. I don't know if there's been any serious conversation between those two. One source told me, who's a lot closer to it than I am, that there hasn't been. So, we'll see. But I don't. I would. It doesn't make a lot of sense when I look at where Ken's at in the stage of his career. He's talked a lot about if he was going to step away and do less, right? Spend more time as a grandfather with his grandkids and with his wife. Are you going to go to Columbus to do that? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, I guess you really want to stay working, but he doesn't financially have to work. Right? I could see him staying on as a consultant for the Oilers if it wasn't going to be a GM, but I'd be surprised. The Columbus one, when I'd heard that, and I've heard it got popped up again here when few people came to town. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that doesn't mean it won't happen. I can't say 100%. Obviously, Ken's not going to tell me his future plans, but let's just say, Cons, I would be a little surprised by that decision.
Yeah, that situation in Columbus. Some nice young pieces, of course, but I don't know if that'd be enough to entice me to go leaving. Whatever the role might be here, if there is anything, what it could be. I think I'd probably maybe prefer to just take it easy. Maybe go back to BC and settle down.
Oh, he wants a golf, that's for sure.
Yeah, get some golf in.
Yeah. No, if he retires, hey, who knows? Maybe he sticks with Edmonton. Well, we'll see what they do. Had a pretty good year, pretty good run under Ken Holland. Now, let's get to the Con Man. Thank everybody for listening. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll have all the recap. Cons, what did you say the score is going to be tonight?
I'm going to say the Oilers have a great start to the game, up by 2 after 20 minutes, and run away with a 5-2 victory.
5-2. All right. So they won't blow a 3-goal lead this time in Vancouver is what you're saying. I like it. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice, where you can try the new Strawberry Blush Smoothie or the triumphant return of the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball. The unique combination of almonds, strawberries, cashews, and coconut. Try one today, only at Booster Juice. Enjoy the game. Turn Sports is up next. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Sad news today as longtime TSN personality and host Darren Dutchyshen passing away after a long battle with cancer. Dutchyshen, of course, hosted Sports Night in town on ITV before heading out east, joining TSN, working on Sports Desk as well as the CFL and Olympic broadcast. He was 57 years old. On the ice tonight, Carolina Hurricanes lead the Rangers 1-0 after 20 minutes. Rangers have a 3-2 series lead in that one. Later tonight, of course, you got the Oilers and Canucks meeting in Vancouver. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock in that one. Series tied at 2 games apiece. In the association, the Timberwolves host the Nuggets. Tip off in about 35 minutes. Denver with a chance to wrap up that series, leading 3-2. In the majors, 3 games currently underway. Heading into the second, the Pirates lead the Cubs 2-0. Rays have a 3-1 lead over the Red Sox. In the third and in the fifth, the Phillies at home trail the Mets 2-0. Later tonight, Astros take on the Athletics, and the Reds are in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. Earlier today, Yankees blank the Twins 5-0. At the PGA Championship, after one round, we've got Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard at 9 under par. Tony Finau and Sahith Theegala currently sitting 6 under. As for the Canadians, Adam Hadwin 3 under, Adam Svensson -1, Taylor Pendrith 1 over par, and Mackenzie Hughes 3 over. And right now, second quarter action in the WNBA. The Liberty lead the Fever 36-27. Brianna Stewart 18 points to lead the way. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, we've got Turn Sports from 6 till 9. That'll be followed by Fox Sports Radio from 9 till 7 a.m. And then tomorrow morning, it is Kevin Carius, Brandon Douglas, and guest host Eddie Steele with you at 7 a.m. on the Kevin Carius Show. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free